Smart, pero palit ang load sa principal. Okay. Kuan ana mo smart mo.
Tapos mas buwan sa
Deposit na mo check dito sa niya. Pag ma-approve na mo check sa pataka lang mo sa
Marami pang hindi nakapasok sa Zoom natin. Next, we have Luis Lina Elementary School. Nana ba? Ma'am, sir?
Next, Madam.
Hi, hi,
Oh,
ma'am.
very good,
Okay.
ma'am.
Dalawa
Next,
po
Madam.
kami.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ma'am Cheryl. Okay, next, Madaong Elementary School.
Present.
Yan.
Very good, Ma'am Mona.
We have Magugpo Pilot Central Elementary School. Yan.
Present, sir.
Present.
Present. Next, Magugpong Pilot Emelda Elementary School. Ano ba, mga taga-Emelda?
Parang wala pa, ma'am. Next, we have Manga Elementary School. Parang
Wala pa din.
wala pa din.
How about Mankilam Elementary School?
Hello, ma'am. Nana, ma'am.
Hi, hello,
sir.
sir.
Hi. Next, how about Mankilam Elementary School? Next, New Balamban Elementary School.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, ma'am.
Next, we have Nueva Forza Elementary School. Parang wala pa ata yung Nueva Forza.
Next, Pagsabangan Elementary School. Hello, Pagsabangan. Wala pa. Rizal Elementary School.
Wala pa din. Good morning to San Agustin Elementary School. Nandiyan na ba yung taga San Agustin?
Wala pa. Next, San Isidro Elementary School.
Next, good morning to Suebaguio Rinia Elementary School.
Mga taga-Suay Baguio rin yan. Diyan na ba kayo? Wala pa. Next, how about the Visayan Village Central Elementary School? Nandiyan na ba?
Wala pa nga.
Wala.
We have Canocatan National High School. Nandiyan na ba yung taga Canocatan?
Walang feedback. How about the Jose Tuazon Junior Memorial National High School? Nana?
Present, ma'am.
Hi. Hello, sir.
We have good morning to La Filipina National High School.
Ang saktibo lagi siya ay.
Wala pa.
Wala pa. How about the Loretta National High School? Loretta National High School? Nawa pa ni Tingo?
Ayun, good morning from Magdom National High School.
Wala.
pa.
Pipisan Maog National High School.
Integrating technology and academics. From Tagum City National High School.
Good morning po.
Good morning,
Hi, Nana.
ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. How about Tagum City National Comprehensive High School?
Ano sir?
Morning. Next.
Next, from Tagum National Trade School. Good morning po.
Okay, next.
Good morning
Busaon.
po.
Good morning
Hello. Good morning,
po.
ma'am. Next, from Busaon Integrated School. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi. Hello po.
From Busaon Integrated School.
Next.
Ay, di mo dahil yung budal pala ko.
Okay. From Libuganon Integrated School.
Mo, nakatong wala ni mo nagamit.
Good morning, Libuganon Integrated School.
Good morning,
Yes.
sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Wow, very good ang Libugano. Next, Pandapan Integrated School. Okay. So, napabay nalimtan niya school?
Please, kasi natin nakalimtan nga school, ma'am, no?
Manood.
Okay, kuan lang, paki-say hello na lang. Yan. Mga 3 minutes or 2 minutes from now, we will start this orientation. So, Set up nyo na lang po yung ating mga gadget dyan, ma'am and sir. Ayan, kasi 2 minutes from now, we will start this orientation.
Walang patawag sa
Direct naman. Mag-outsource pa man.
Okay, good morning, mathematicians of Tagum City Division. Welcome to the Tagum City Division Math Orientation of Mathematics Teachers in the new normal modalities. Kumusta po kayong lahat? Hope you have already taken your breakfast because few minutes from now, we are about to start our orientation this morning. I am Ramel Abay, a math teacher of La Putina National High School, your host for the day, together with my co-host, Ma'am Winkelin Clef. Hello, Ma'am Winky. How are you today?
Hello, Sir Ram. Good morning, everyone. Okay, I am very fine and excited this morning because this is it. Finally, we are having our Tagum City Division Math Orientation, specifically with the math teachers of Tagum City. And it is a great honor and privilege to be hosting this memorable event. Ang tama din mong question,
Pero
Sir
ako,
Ram. Nakapamahaw na ba tang tanan?
Ayun, pangit
Our internet connection there? Okay, we all know that some teachers have stable internet while some only rely on mobile data. Tama ba? But hopefully, we could successfully start and end this program without technical or internet connection problems.
Yes, Ma'am Winky. No, we need to focus our attention sa gagawin natin ngayong araw na ito, sa ating orientation.
Yes.
Dahil after this, lahat tayo mga math teachers ay may gagawin upang mapadali ang ating gawain sa paghatid ng ating instructions to our students in this new normal in education. But before we start, let us first acknowledge our speakers, guests, and participants and working committees this morning. Ayan, we have 72 in participants meron tayo dito, Ma'am Winky.
Yes.
No? Okay, so let's start with our very own, most active, strong, and passionate, ang pinakahawod, yung pinakahawod, Ma'am Winky, our overall chairperson of this math orientation, our education program supervisor in mathematics, and also our OIC, CID chief, Dr. Maria of this math orientation. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning po, Doc Sibuan. Okay, good morning also to the master teachers and to the math coordinators that are here, especially to our gorgeous, beautiful program managers, our master teacher 3, Ma'am Rosario Maco from Mabuco Pilot Central Elementary School. Hello, Ma'am Rose.
Yes, good morning also sa ating mga working committees. No? Sila yung nasa likod ng ating video conference ngayong araw na ito.
Yes.
Especially to our technical director, Sir Jason Thompson from Jose Tuason Junior Memorial National High School. Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, sir. I would also like to acknowledge the makikisig at nagwawapuhang ICT experts behind us here. Sir J.R.F. Villa Abrilles, Sir Freddy Leliza of Florentino Catalan Elementary School, and Sir Joey Dinopol of Ignatius Xavier, Tuason Elementary School.
And to all of the participants this morning, to the master teachers, mathematics coordinators, and to all math teachers of the Division of Tagum City, good morning po, ma'am and sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Sir Ram. Okay, do you believe, Sir Ram, that among the teachers of the 9 disciplines, math teachers have the quickest or the smartest and the most active brain?
Yun.
Ha? Tinood na.
Tinood na. Tanawan na to kung tinood ba yun,
Okay,
no?
sige nga, we'll
So, active ba yung mga math teacher natin ngayon?
So we'll see if it's really true.
Kung
So
nakapamahaw ba yun?
yes, I want you all to get ready with your fingertips. Okay, and let us press the reaction buttons. Are you ready, teachers? Sige daw, teachers, kindly press the button, the reaction button, clap. Virtual clap, please. Na ba? Asa man yung mga virtual clap? Okay.
Ayan. Parang
Nakapamahaw.
nag-set up pa ba siguro ang atong mga math teachers din ako mangkilin, no?
Okay, how about virtual likes? Okay, like. Okay, very good. Very good, teachers. Okay, super active din atong mga math teachers sa Tagum City Division.
Yeah, super active talaga ang ating mga math teachers, Ma'am Winky. Now, let's give our house rules in this virtual meeting. So, meron tayong house rules. So, our technical director, please share the screen. Yan for our house rules for today in this math orientation of math teachers in the new normal modality. So we have the first rule. Ano nga yung first rule natin dyan? Okay, our first rule. Wear an appropriate attire just like attending a face-to-face meeting.
Okay, yes. Number 2, the conference will be recorded for documentation purposes. So by joining the conference, you are giving full rights to the host to collect necessary information such as, but not limited to, your full name, address, and contact number.
Yes, number 3. Stay in a quiet place
Ako dito
where you will
makita ko
not be disturbed by others. Importante po ito. As much as possible, stay away from pets and children as it adds to noise when you are speaking. You may also use your personal earphone with built-in microphone to reduce background noise.
Okay, next, number 4, be on time. So callers who join late may interrupt the discussion. For the other math teachers who are still not around, kindly chat or PM them as we are about to start our program this morning po.
Okay, for number 5, upon entering the room, your microphone will be muted by the host. If the host forgot to mute you, kindly mute it for yourself. Okay?
Okay, kindly mute yourself po.
Yes. Parang, na-mute na ba?
Naagya po yung ikaw, sir.
So please, paki-mute na po yung ating microphone.
Okay. Number 6, wait for the host to acknowledge you before speaking. The host will enable your audio function. Only then will you be allowed to speak. So, to be acknowledged, please click the raise hand function found at the bottom of the window on the right side of your screen.
Okay, for number 7, for those who are not speakers, video is not required. No, should you enable video, please be mindful of what uh,
Being shown.
being shown in the camera. As much as possible, stay in a clutter-free surroundings. Refrain from eating or doing anything else. Ayan.
Okay, number 8. Screen sharing will be employed, especially if you have something to share. Especially for the speakers. To use it, click the screen share button at the bottom of the window. So, alam na po ito ng ating mga speakers.
Ayan, nanadagyo sila ni ma'am. So, number 9, please use the chat function. Nandyan po sa baba ng ating screen, no? If there is a need for clarification, questions, or other matters that may not be heard clearly, avoid profanity and any unlawful word language. So, kung may katanungan tayo, meron tayong chat box dyan.
Okay, yes, ma'am. And before we end our program later, we'll read the comments or questions on the chat box. So, please reserve your questions out there, then type at the chat box because we'll be reading that before we end our program. Okay, so those were all our house rules. So we know that you already know those rules because for the many times we experience Zoom conferencing, alam nyo na yan.
Yes, Ma'am Winky, anad na kaayo na ato ang mga participants sa virtual meeting or conference ng atong mga participants. So all participants, please stay in our orientation via Zoom because later on we'll be giving the link for the attendance and the Katami evaluation. Ayan. And now, without further ado, let's all focus to the screen for the patriotic singing of our national anthem to be followed by our fervent prayer, the proud singing of our Tagum City hymn through audio-visual presentation.
Wala, may man.
Madunggan kan.
Dakilang may likha sa kalingatang unawa mangyari ang iyong diwa sa langit at sa lupa.
Mag-attendance lang ko dahil. Regional.
Yang kay tagalan ng babaya, diyan ko sa nalipupuduan ko, nadidak yung gaya lugay, kinita
Alam ko yun, like ko eh.
Dalam bago si Balya niya, tawag si Danginan. Napagtanaw-tanawin mo, pagsiring-siringin mo yan, yung mga dato, binukaw. Mga biya ka bayan na mababay, maging kudya, matapid mga atang. Sansurid luang mga abatlos ko ng binunsali. Yan kay gaw ka, yung kabayaw ko. Pagpanguyaw-kuyaban mo, pagpamayad-payadan mo, ng pinandang pinagalyo, pwedeng binagansuli. Kahit tagal lang, ikaw yung mapigam ka namin, walay pagkagano, walay pagkawasan. Panganam mo sa ngungay, patpid mo sa barantak ng pwedeng mo, wangay ng marigang mo. Ayan, kahit tagal lang, naga untong sa matkan mo, ng kaliko ng bibutang mo, babawin ng dunya,
Order ka pa?
namin pagbiginawa. tagal lang ang latyo ka namin. Inaayos ang anak ng kanisa, nagantay.
Sila may palit ni mo.
اللهم إنك ترى أن هذه القلوب قد اجتمعت على محبتك واتفقت على هذه المكان إيمانك وتوحدت على دعوتك فوثق ربي طاعتها يا الله وأدم أدها واملأها بنورك الذي لا يخبو واسرح صدورنا بفائد الإيمان بك وجميل توكل عليك واهدنا سبل الوحدة والسلام والصلاح ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار يا الله أنت مستجاب لهذا الدعاء وعليك توكلنا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين آمين الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Mahabagin naming Ama, Ikaw ang aming sandigan at lakas. Ikaw ang kaligtasan ng aming katawan at kaluluwa. Naway takpan mo po kami ng iyong mapagkalingang kamay upang maiadyak kami sa mga pahirap at karamdaman at sa lahat ng masama dala ng makabagong mundo. Hinihingi po namin na sana'y ilayo po ninyo ang mahal naming lungsod ng Tagum sa mga mapinsalang kalamidad at sakuna. Mahal naming Panginoon, Ikaw ang aming proteksyon at gabay. Sa oras ng pasakit at pangamba, bigyan niyo po kami ng sapat na lakas upang aming mapagtagumpayan ang lahat ng pagsubok sa aming buhay sa pangalan ni Jesus. Amen.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God, our loving Father, Creator of heaven and earth, we thank you for your generosity and kindness, and ask that you hear us in times of needs. Make us worthy of your blessing, and keep us from further want. Help us restore our abundance here on earth, so that we may turn more attention to your divine kingdom. Help us become a blessing to our family and others, to glorify and honor your name. We ask this to our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Iadya nyo kami sa pagmamataas upang maiwaksi ang lupit at dahas. At samahang lumikha ng pamayanan payapa sa kalikasan kabuhayan, kakanyahan paniniwala. Sa lupain ang pangako ay may isang paraiso, ang matatag at matatayong ng mundo ay sagana sa aming apito. Mga bukid niya, mga parang at mga lutiyang palayan, saan dakuman iyong pagmamasdan ko'y larawan ng kasaganahan. Bagong mabuhay ka, bagong mabuhay ka, kung sa'yo ang bukas na walang hanggan. Bagong mabuhay ka, bagong mabuhay ka, para iyong puno ng pag-asa. Ang lahat ng nagsasakupan, nagmamahal sa mabuhay ka, mabuhay ka. Kung sa'yo ang bukas na wala kasing ganda. Mabuhay ka, mabuhay ka. Paraiso mulo ng pag-asa. Paraiso mulo ng pag-asa.
Yan. Good morning sa tanan.
Okay, good morning once again, especially to our dear OIC CID Chief, EPS in Mathematics, Dr. Maria Fesibuan, honored speakers, and dear participants, our master teachers and fellow mathematics coordinators. Welcome to our Tagum City Division Math Orientation of Math Teachers in the New Normal Modality. We all know that mathematics is the hardest subject that our children should learn. And we are now facing the challenge to connect with them without seeing them face to face. So, how are we going to connect them? What should we do first? Good thing that DepEd is here, setting us webinars like this to prepare us before the classes start.
Yes, Ma'am Winky. It is true that pag sinabing math subject, mapakalot yun sa ulo ang atong mga estudyante. Tinood na?
Yes.
Kanang mag-classic kag math, Ma'am Winky.
Musibat.
Musibat yun. Naagi pa yung musibat ang mga bata, Ma'am Winky. But we have the best teachers in Tagum, math teachers in Tagum City to make math easy, fun to learn. No? But how? Paano? No, we have a lot of queries in our minds on how we are going to teach mathematics to our learners this time of pandemic. No? Since we are encouraged to have the distance learning modalities like modular, offline, online, TV, and radio modalities. Kaya nga, today's orientation for mathematics teachers, we will be guided on what to do and how to do. As what Doc Sibuan said of our webinar talks, that all teachers are expected to deliver quality distance learning. Such a great challenge for us. Tinuod yun, challenge yun ni kaayo Mang Winky. And I know medyo siguro mahirap, no? Pero kaya nga, this orientation is intended to equip as teachers with the appropriate pedagogy, employ the tripod approach, teacher, student, parent, guardian, stakeholder engagement to instruction, and also to provide appropriate learning materials to help the teachers and the learners.
Okay, that's right. Sir Ram, okay, dear participants, so as master teachers and math coordinators of our respective school, we are the first-hand receivers of the instructions this morning. So we have the task to disseminate our learnings from here to the other math teachers of our schools. Right? So we have to be very attentive and extra focused to our discussion today. Since we need to echo our agenda here to the other math teachers in your school. But Sir Ram, we are also live in Tagum ICT Group. Ano? We are live in DepEd ICT Group. So naadaw sa chat box ang link sa ato ang live.
Yes, dapat ng mga math teachers, ma'am, no? Na maka-appeal dyan sa atong orientation in this morning.
Okay, so before we start, let us first call the attendance. Ano?
Yes, let's check the attendance again, ma'am, para lahat talaga, no, makasali sa ating orientation ngayong araw na ito.
Okay.
Yan.
Asa naman to atong chat?
As of now, we have 83 participants.
83 participants. Okay, let's read our chat first from Sir Rosalito Pepito. Good morning to everybody, including the head and feet. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
From Ma'am Edeline May Rentuaya. Good morning po sa tanan. Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Ayan, from Ma'am Jorita Alipo. Good morning, everyone. Yes, ma'am, good morning.
Okay, from Ma'am Emery Aquino. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Ma'am.
Hey. Ayan, so mamaya, may mga queries tayo, no? I-chat box na lang natin mamaya. Okay. From Ma'am Hazel Quinteles Basa. Good morning po. From F. De La Cruz, P. Sagun Elementary School, formerly Union Elementary School.
Okay, from Ma'am Mona Gladys. Ma'am Mona Gladys, good morning po from Madaom Elementary School. Hi!
Ayan, from Libuganon Integrated School, Sir Kirby Glenn Berido. Good morning daw. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. From Nerissa, Catalunya. Good morning, everyone from San Isidro Elementary School. Okay.
Ayan, meron pa ba, ma'am?
Okay, so marami. Nandyan na ang Rizal Elementary School. Sir Jason Fajardo. Hi, sir.
Hi, sir. So we have here, okay. Ayan, from Loretta National High School, Sir Kiam Dudongan. Good morning, sir.
Okay. Still from Loretta National High School, Ma'am Sheila 0228. Hi, ma'am.
Ayan, Ma'am Winky, yung ating orientation ngayon ay napaka-importante sa ating mga math teachers, no? Kasi para upang mapadali ang ating pag-deliver ng instruction sa ating mga estudyante dahil ang modality natin ngayon dahil sa pandemic para distance learning tayo, no? Para wala tayong face-to-face learning. Medyo challenging ito, Ma'am Winky.
So, meron modules, meron LMS online, meron na din radio broadcasting at saka TV broadcasting. Ano kayang gagawin natin? Paano natin i-revise lahat ng meron tayo na DLL at lesson
Yung
plan?
lesson planning. Paano kaya yun, Ma'am Winky? Ano? Ayan.
Okay, babasahin natin. Apocon Elementary School, nandiyan na ba?
Say hello sa Apocon
Hello po,
Elementary
ma'am.
School.
Good morning.
Hello, ma'am.
Good morning.
We have Babangan Elementary School.
Babanganan.
Babanganan Elementary School.
Next, Bingkungan Elementary School.
Wala pa, no? Baka may mga kakilala kayo sa school na ito. You can chat your friends, contact them para makasali sa orientation natin ngayong araw na ito. We have Colonel Rosario Saludares Elementary School.
Okay.
Parang wala pa.
Wala pa. Don Ricardo Breeze Central Elementary School.
Say hello to Don Ricardo Breeze Central Elementary School.
Okay. F. De La Cruz Sagon Elementary School. Hi.
Nandyan na ba yung... para nandyan na. Okay. Florentino Catalan Elementary School.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am, from Florentino.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Recalina L. Edig Elementary School. We have La Filipina Elementary School.
Okay, Ignacio Xavier Tuason Elementary School. Laureta Elementary School. Luislina Elementary School.
Madaong Elementary School.
Magugpo Pilot Central Elementary School. Magugpo Pilot Emelda Elementary School.
Mangga Elementary School.
Mangkilam Elementary School.
New Balanban Elementary School.
Nueva Fuerza Elementary School.
Pagsabangan Elementary School.
Rizal Elementary School in Anatoganina.
Okay, mamaya we will continue, no, calling the school, no, their attendance. Ayan, I think we're now to start with this program.
Naana ba si ma'am?
Okay. Ayan. So now our program will never be completed without the message from our super energetic. Ayan. Sino kaya to? And full of determination. Our education program supervisor in mathematics and our OIC.
Okay.
Okay. Mamaya pala yun. Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay, before we proceed to Ma'am, the message of Ma'am Cebuan, let's have first the greetings, welcome greetings from our super energetic Ma'am, brilliant math coordinator of Jose Tuazon Junior Memorial National High School, none other than Ma'am Emery E. Aquino. Please press your virtual claps, please. Ma'am Emery.
Hello, Ma'am Emery. Good morning.
Okay. So, according to Franklin Roosevelt, happiness lies in the joy of achievement and the thrill of creative effort. My respect to our very active, walang pahinga, pero gorgeous pa rin as ever. Walang sound. So, our education program supervisor. At the same time, our OIC chief of the curriculum implementation division, Dr. Maria Festibuan. To my fellow math coordinators, master teachers, and all teacher participants, a pleasant morning to everyone. May buntag!
Good morning, may buntag.
Okay. It gives me a great pleasure to extend to you all a very warm welcome to our mass orientation of math teachers in the new normal modality. The purpose of having this orientation is for us teachers to be guided, to be equipped, and capacitated with the multiple learning modalities in the implementation of the learning delivery system consistent with DepEd's professional development framework and professional standards. In this time of threat and challenges brought about by COVID-19 pandemic, the new normal is calling us to develop essential skills that can help us embrace and thrive as we navigate the digital spheres of learning modality. These skills these are skills of flexibility, adaptability, and empathy to face the reality that this is now the new normal phase of education. I know sa dami na itinuro sa atin on mga online and offline learning platforms and modalities, alam ko hindi yun madali. One of which is the learning management system. And this cannot be learned and mastered instantly, but this can be developed over time through our inner desire to learn. Our focus right now is on distance or flexible learning modality as a mean to deliver instruction to our dear learners who are at home with the implementation of the list of most essential learning competencies. As we embrace on this journey toward embracing the new normal learning modality in teaching, let us always uphold the right to quality education by providing multiple pathways to learning that can accommodate every student, and let us have the built-in desire to learn and expand our knowledge to grow and develop for our learners. Let's just continue the energy, the enthusiasm that fuels our inner drive to be an innovative teacher and to be a productive individual in this new normal. Kaya mga math teachers, adya, laban lang. So before I will end, let me share to you one of my favorite verses in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. It says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. God bless us all. May buntag kanatong tanan.
Ayan. Adja, sabi nga ni ma'am, no?
Naman.
Thank you. No? So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ma'am Emery, for that message. Ayan. And now, our program will never be completed without the message from our super energetic and full of determination ang pinakahawod sa tanan. Our education program supervisor in mathematics and our OIC CID chief. Everyone, let's welcome her with our floods of virtual class, Dr. Maria Fe D. Sibuan. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning everyone. Maayong buntag. Good morning.
Good
Morning,
morning
ma'am.
po.
Okay, good morning Sir Ram and Ma'am Winky. Uh, of course no, I would like to say thank you muna bago ako mag-greetings no to the team, no, to the team. Kanina pa yata ready no, but I need to prepare my slides para isahan lang ang ating orientations. I would request the coordinators to please tell your teachers to be around today. Parang 82 lang tayo. I'm expecting around 60 for the elementary and 44 for the junior high school and another 44 for the senior high school. But I believe we are only 82. Parang run out tayo, no? Although in the senior high school, maybe we have the same participants with the junior high school. Kaya isa ra daw ilang coordinators. But hoping na other teachers could attend or could be with us this morning, no? Kay muhatag ta og instruction as to what we are going to do with this new normal. And by August 24, I am hoping also that after today, after this morning, there will be no more queries. There will be no more tawag nato kanang problem along the way as we implement the new normal. Because this morning, I'm going to give you all the flow on what we are going to do with with August 24, our opening of classes. But before that, no, I would like to show to you, alam ko nakita nyo na ito ang slides, but middle on the slides, doon ko na nilagay yung ating processing, yung ating orientation on what really will happen comes August 24. Medyo delayed tayo because ang division office wala kaming kuryente, so kailangan kong mag-move out and then balik uli sa bahay, no? Balik uli sa bahay. Kay wala may parang brown out doon sa amin sa Energy Park, lahat-lahat ng offices doon. So, let me share to you my slide, no? My slide. Yes. Yes. 101. Sir Jason, paano natin ma-document yung plus 20 na naa sa YouTube? Okay. But I wanted kasi, Sir Jason, na makuha ilang picture yun, mapicturan yun sila. So paano natin yan ma-document sila besides sa attendance and okay, pero ma-screenshot din yung nila, yung mukha nila, hindi. Okay, very good, very good. So I wanted these teachers to be around, no? And see to it that you will have with you your pictures kasi I'm going to support that one, not only in the liquidation, but at least I have this document that you were able to attend our mass orientation. This is very important. In fact, I invited also private schools to be with us because we will be talking also not only the processing by August 24, but our direction, no, onward, this school year 2020-2021, that will include our activities, whether we're going to have our division festival, on what way. So we are going to discuss. I have this proposal, including, of course, our enhanced MTAP school base, of which kailangan din yun. Mas maganda kasi nasa bahay sila, then we will provide only the material. So, yun ang mga different areas na ating i-discuss this morning. That is why I also invited, no, pina-forward ko yung link to our private school teachers. So they are with us, siguro with us na. So hoping na yung mga friends ninyo could listen, could be with us for this mass orientation. And nakita ko si Sir Ram kanina, tinatawag ang attention ng Bingkungan Elementary School. Kindly, no, if you have friends teaching at Bingkungan Elementary School, please tell them to be with us this morning. Para hindi tayo na mawawala, no? On set tayo, on deck tayo lahat. So uh, as we engage to this new normal in education by August 24, everything will be in place. Okay? So, share ko na yung slides ko. Okay, this is actually my slide used during the division training of trainers. But I would like to engage this so that you will also know what is really the purpose of our mass orientation. So, of course, even if we are engaging into the new normal education, I wanted you to know the premise of this training, no, of this webinar. So, this is in line with the distinct goal of the K to 12 basic education curriculum. This is cited at DepEd Order 21, series of 2019, which says that it is to expand and improve the delivery of basic education in the Philippines and to ensure that such delivery of instruction is appropriate, responsive, and relevant to the learners. So likewise, this program responded its commitment to Sustainable Development Goal. So that is SDG, which is to ensure inclusive and equitable equality and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. So even if we are facing this COVID, we are still adhering to this goal. However, due to the current health situation brought about by COVID-19 pandemic, it is considered as the greatest challenge on how kita teachers, no, on how we are going to deliver the aforementioned goal of the department. So somehow it has also created impact on our learning delivery and on the expected decrease of the learners in school due to this situation. May all schools, no? May all schools in the elementary, junior high school, and senior high school will respond to the enrollment of our learners in school. Let us not be distracted of these situations. So in line with this, our division, our office, the Curriculum Implementation Division, will conduct series of webinars, not only to math. No, we started yesterday with MTB and MTB MLE. And today, this is the schedule for mathematics. No other schedule para there are teachers kasi teaching in the elementary, yung mga generalist, no? So they could also attend to the respective areas or learning areas. So, walang magsasapawan. Now, the objective, again, of this mass orientation is to orient our teachers on the process of how the distance learning modality be delivered in the 9 disciplines. So, ito na sila, no? And, again, as I mentioned, webinars will be conducted one at a time so that those teachers handling more than one subjects, they could also attend to the other discipline. So, dili lang usa ang paminawan, no? But still, other discipline na iyahang gihandle, which is very important. Kasi nga, this is the processing on how we are going to deliver our discipline in the field. So, this also aim to equip you teachers with the pedagogy to address the identified critical content of the core, applied, and specialized subjects while exposed into the different modalities in the delivery of instruction. So, the pedagogy that we are talking here, this is not anymore new to you because you attended series of webinars, no? You have your exposure with Mark C. You also have other exposure to other webinars which contain on the different strategy or pedagogy. So, this will also employ the tripod approach. So, I wanted you teachers, no, the mathematics teachers, to consider the tripod approach wherein you teacher will deliver learning materials and somehow give instructional approach or instructional content to the parents. So, tatlo tayong magtatrabaho dito. Your role as teacher, our student as the heart of our engagement, and our parent, of which this time they are considered as our learning facilitators. If not parents, of course, guardian, or the stakeholders. Why stakeholders? Kasi we will be, medyo may maingay yata. What is that? Ano yan? Sir Jason? Stakeholder engagement. I would like to request everyone, no, to please i-mute lang atong microphone para magkaintindihan tayo. I-prompt Jason. Kaninong mic yan? So going back, no, on the tripod approach, the teacher, student, parent, guardian, stakeholder engagement to instruction. So tatlo tayong magtatrabaho dito, including our learners. Mahihirapan tayo maybe on the kinder and grade 1, but after grade 1, because of the spiral approach, meron tayong room that our learners even could connect to the current concept, no? Kung unsa iyahang grade level. Kay spiral approach man siya. The learning on the higher level, meron na siyang foundation on in the lower level. So kung na siya sa grade 2, si grade 1 concept niya somehow na interrelate po dito sa grade 2. So dili siya ingon nga ano gyud siya kanang empty na siya learning. So ang ato ang most focus at natin ngayon is more on kinder and grade 1. So we will also be providing you instructional materials, but not really the physical one. No, we will just give you inputs on what to prepare to address this new normal. Most especially those critical content na makita ninyo doon sa ating learning package. Kasi dapat na-explore na ninyo ang ating learning package. Later, I will discuss it more. Anong expectation natin dito? we have these modalities, pero hindi pa ito mangyayari ngayon. We will be on the online distance learning. Broaden understanding of distance learning with the different identified modalities. So, ano itong, yung face-to-face yung ating traditional, no? But we are now on distance learning. So, itong ODL or online distance learning, modular distance learning, television, radio-based instruction, and hopefully we will be able to engage, no? To engage to blended learning. Or, according to Mark C, it could be flexible learning. But even in the distance learning, we could engage to flexible learning, teachers. Do not only limit to, medyo maingay kayo. Hello, Jason, maingay. Do not only limit to online distance learning, no? Kung online talaga, you can also go into the combination of online and modular. Nakuha ninyo? Online and modular, or radio-based instruction and then modular. Kasi in my end, no, expensive siya, yes, kasi you will be producing materials. But maybe we could request our parents para medyo mas stronger siya, mas tawag natin, mas meron siyang effect sa ating learners. So, we can make use the combination of the 2 or 3 platforms. So, nag-graduate siya, second supplemental platform mo. Tapos, naghumahawak siya ng module. So, pag hindi pa niya ito makuha, they could also extend to offline. Ma'am, kinsa may mugasto, ana. So, that is why I told you na we need to engage more to our parents so that parents, they could know, they could address to it. Kay kung modular lang pa, yes, they can, but somehow, mas maganda kasing may nakikita din sila. Kumbaga, may video din silang makita to supplement. At saka meron tayong radio para makinggan din nila yung mga lessons na pinipresenta ng teachers. Okay? Then later on, pag open na yung line, we could engage to blended learning, yung may face-to-face na. So, it could be face-to-face with online distance learning, or face-to-face with modular distance learning, or face-to-face and TV radio-based instruction platform. So, yun ang expectations natin sa inyo after this mass training, no? Hoping that you note also what I've been saying. You have your notes with you, beside you, so that you can also write those, no? Do not rely on our memory. Kailang meron tayong na isusulat. Okay. Ito nga, sabi ko kanina, I'm expecting 30 master teachers and 30 coordinators. And 11 master teachers to junior and senior high school, and coordinator of junior high school and senior high school. But in the group chat that we have, I also note, no, nagbigay ako ng note that if master teacher is not available in your school, pwede si teacher 3 or other teachers could attend the training. You're going to handle this during your LAC sessions. Okay, dili na ta. How to process delivery of mathematics. Ito yung trabaho ni teacher. For grade 1 to 11, except grade 3, you will be using our mathematics learning package. Okay? I am hoping that your school receive already the soft copy, clean soft copy of our learning package from grade 1 to grade 11, and then except for grade 3, because our grade 3 will be using our self-engaging Ready Math workbook, no? Ready Math workbook for grade 3. Katong gigamit nato last year. Merong tayong correction nun, pero you teachers kindly do the editing. Pwede niyo i-edit, yun lang portion, ha? Konti naman lang yung nakita namin ni Freddy. Yun lang portion na yon. Ma'am, dili biya ni siya MELC based. Kay K to 12 based pa man ni siya, ma'am. So that might be the question of our grade 3 teachers, no? Maminaw coordinators. Now, this this self-engaging Ready Math workbook, according to our Undersecretary San Antonio, no? Nandun sa kanyang advisory, kasi not all regions nakagawa ng MELC base. Not all divisions, not all region or national, no, sa national level. So, ang directive ngayon ni Undersecretary San Antonio, whatever resources available that you believe this learning area can be delivered, pwede siya gamito nato. So, meaning, lusot yung ating self-engaging Ready Math workbook. Kasi the reason, you might be asking, ma'am, ano man ta naghimo og learning package sa grade 3? Now, that's the possible question. We do not prepare learning package for grade 3 because there is an assurance that this will be released by the central office because Region 11 is assigned to prepare module for Filipino 3 and Mathematics grade 3. So yun, confident ako na magawa. Kasi pag Region 11, gumagawa talaga religiously. It just so happen na hindi, may ibang division na assign, hindi tinapos. So, nagkakahabulan ng time. We don't have any more time. And they don't have any time no, to prepare doon sa region. So, they are now asking the materials of all the divisions. So, may nag-comment sa akin, ma'am, paano yung sinabi ni Dr. Webos? Answerable na sila no? Kasi very clear, the instruction is, all the materials in the divisions, kukunin ng region, tapos hahasasan, tapos ilalabas ngayon uli doon sa field. But our SDS do not like that approach, no? So we are going to print our local or division initiative materials. And that's very clear, no? During our Monday meeting last Monday, there's already a hard instruction coming from our SDS. Now we are going to start printing our division initiative materials in all the learning areas. So that is why your LR, meron na tayo, your LR already gets these materials from the division LRMDS. So, I hope na nasa kamay na yan ng mga LR ng schools, no? Please, you can now start reproducing, pero maghintay muna, magbigay muna ako ng instruction. So, that will be, no? Grade 1 to 11 learning package. For grade 3, you will use the self-engaging Ready Math workbook. Now, this learning package of ours adheres the learning philosophy of the innate understanding of our learners, of how the brain works based on the learner's age. So meaning, yung ginawa natin, di ba, before tayo gumawa ng learning package, hindi tayo gumawa ng walang instruction coming from me. It is straight binigay ko sa inyo na we will be preparing this learning package thinking that because of the spiral approach, meron lang naintindihan ng bata and they could learn this independently. Kaya nandun yung premise ng ang ating learning package, embrace the theory, again embrace the theory of explicit teaching learning process. So it is a guided, no? That that our learners could learn the concepts on their own because of this theory. Kana bang process siya, guided siya na even siya lang, no? Siya lang ang magtanaw sa atong learning package as well as yung ating grade 3 self-engaging. These learners could address the content and could answer the assessment. So, also may concept sa theory of explicit teaching. Ito yung concept na I do, we do, and you do. Meaning to say, the presentation of the concept with the illustrative example given by the teacher. Then there is the interaction between the teacher and the student. Doon yun sa interactive phase. And you do, and that is now the engagement phase. So in that phase of domains, not domain. In that stages of the presentation of our learning package, sure ako, no, I have this understanding or ang wisdom ko talaga nito that our learners could learn it independently. So, ito yung laman ng learning package na sinulat ng ating mga writers. So, I would like to commend, no, our writers for this output. Merong mga LR issues, may mga LR issues, but we are going to process that on the second quarter. Hindi muna ngayon because I want you teachers to be ready. To be ready in the in the preparations of these materials based on the weekly activity. So by week siya ang presentation ninyo. By week ang paghatag sa inyong parents. Now you will say, "Ma'am, ang amua kay week 1 o week 2, week 3 o week 4, most especially for big schools, you listen." There are big schools. You listen, coordinators, listen. There are schools requesting that the reproduction will be done using the 4-week lesson. That is to minimize the budgetary or the cost of the reproduction. Now, if that is the case, si week 1, week 2, week 3, o week 4 na lesson, so kaupat ang iyang divisions. Now, according to your school heads, yung 4 na ito will not be answered, no? Will not be used by the learners. So, meaning to say, naagyoy instruction that answers will be written in a separate sheet or notebook. So, muhatag yung instruction during the orientation, no, teachers? Na ang bata na ay notebook, separate notebook for mathematics, ang ilagay doon, mathematics learning notes. Again, ako ko na, mathematics learning notes. Diha isulat ang ilang answers to be submitted. So diha na, module o notebook ang ipasa sa bata para pag after the week. Now, for example, ang release is Saturday, no? So Monday tun-an sa bata. Then i-retrieve, iuli na pod ang material pagka Friday sa hapon para di magkita. No, Saturday man ang Saturday para isang daanan lang. Ibalik sa school ng Saturday, kukunin naman ang material sa hapon ng Sabado. Depende na yan sa articulation. Kasi interchange. So, si week 4, pupunta, mag-i-evolve siya. Pupunta kang week 3, si week 4, para na ay coherent. Si week 1 ang mag-exchange sa week 2. Pagka ikatulong semana, si week 2 mag-exchange ni week 3. Si week 4 mo exchange sa week 1. So ganon. Don't you worry kay akong ipakita ang flow sa chat group na lang nato no kung asa unsaon pag-exchange sa upat ka semana. Kung tulo ka semana, 3 weeks ang division sa reproduction, ganon din. 1 to 2 ang pag-travel, 2 to 3, 3, 1. So mag-exchange sila, no? Mag-exchange. Pero for small schools, small identified schools, dili pwede mo engage sa ing-ana nga scheme. You are going to provide 1:1 module to your learners. Dito lang to, no? Pero kung ang isa ka big school, mingon, ma'am, kung ang isa ka big school, ma'am, muhatag yun og module. Yes, why not? Depende na lang sa inyo. Kung daghan mong donors nga papel, sige, bira. 1:1, paansiri ang module, kay moog yun na mas nindot, no? Moog yun na mas nindot. Dili na to hunahunahon unta ang gasto, pero naamag di wam ta kabalo nga basig second quarter the same no, although naay gi-download gamay ra pod kaayo ingon sa tong SDS ang budget sa page sa reproduction imbis 50 centavos nahimo na hinuong 30 nga magpa-Xerox man ganit ta piso. So yun no, so yan. Anyway, that is administrative na yan issue na they need to address. For us teachers, we are going to do this for our learners. If possible, give the module to our learners and for our learners to answer to that module kasi mas maganda ang approach. Another is, teacher, you are going to prepare. Ma'am, napami lesson plan? Siyempre, mag-lesson plan gihapon ta. Maski pag COVID, no? In fact, dapat kay maaga ang materials na bigay sa inyo, gagawa pa rin tayo ng lesson. So mamaya, JR will show to you how to prepare lesson exemplar. Sinadya ko talaga na magbigay ng input si JR on lesson exemplar. So, he is going to deliver after me, I believe, how to prepare lesson exemplar. Kasi mas maganda itong tayo-tayo math, no? Kasi yung presentation doon sa DTOT natin, it's in the general approach. Although yung ibang teacher natin nito, marunong na masyado kasi because of the exposure to the different webinars. Ma'am, pwede ba yung lesson exemplar, katong lesson plan lang akong himuon, ma'am? Yes. This time, ma'am, wala uniformity. It's still okay. It's still okay. As long as you have your lesson plan with you. Ma'am, wala man mi ka ng day-to-day interaction sa akong learner. What will happen? Of course, your lesson plan will deal on a 1 week activity. Hindi siya daily isulat, pero it covers the whole week activity. Dili ka adlaw-adlaw magsulat, no? Dili. Pag abot sa processing, mo lang i-refer dito unsang lesson imuhang gi-target. You base your lesson plan to the lesson to the learning package that you have, no? To the learning package. Para na ay coherent, para pag tan-aw na ako sa imong trabaho ay okay ito. kasi address niya yung learning package for week 1. So, ma'am, weekly day among paghimo, ma'am, yes. 1 lesson exemplar per week para dili kayo gitawag nato na laborious on your part. Okay? Sige, sige. Next. You will also prepare weekly plan. Yes, I will provide you a template on that para you will also be guided. So, lesson exemplar, your lesson plan, isa lang. Kung lesson exemplar imong gihimo, lesson exemplar lang, nya weekly plan. Kung lesson plan imong gihimo, lesson plan lang pod plus your weekly plan. Okay? Unsay unod sa weekly plan, ma'am? These are your activities on that week. Ma'am, work from home man mi, ma'am. Yes, even if you're at work, working at home, but you have naman your activities which still about the lesson, which still about how you are going to deliver or improve your learning package maybe. Ang sa pay activity. Nakita na ko, ma'am, nga wa gyud sila ka-answer aning number 2. So, mga tagtag instructional intervention. Okay? Sige, sige. Let's proceed. So, anong expectation natin? So, yun ang expectation natin sa teacher, no? That si teacher, again, will use the learning package, grade 1 to 11, and grade 3 will use the self-engaging Ready Math workbook. Then, you are going to prepare, again, as I have said, your lesson exemplar or your lesson plan with your week plan. What is our expectation to our pupils, our students? So sila as our learner, we're expecting them to be an independent learners, no? Learning our lesson independently. So independent learning. Paced learning. Why paced learning? Because they are at home, so they are going to engage the lesson in their own phase, no? In their own time. So walay magkuan sa ilaha. Tempa. Okay. So ang learning outcome must be present. So ma'am, unsaon na mo pagkaibalo nga naagi learning outcome? In the engagement part, you will assess kung visible ba ang tendencies develop sa ato ang learners, no? So learning outcome must be present. Learning package or the engagement 3 to 5 word problems will tell you, teacher. Musulti ni sila. The engagement part will tell you whether or not our learners learn something, no? Learn from our learning package. So, nandun, 3 to 5 word problems. You can really assess our learners kung may natutunan or wala. Then, on the reflection, the intention is to evaluate whether learning really takes place. So that's the intention, no, of our reflection. So that's the expectation sa ating learners. So what to do? Unsay buhaton? So we have now the expectation. We now level our expectation from our learners and what the teacher must do. So anong kailangan pa nating gawin? To process whether there is learning, we are going to release weekly lesson, no? And track learners. So mamaya, sabi ko kanina, i-reiterate ko lang that the releasing of lesson will be weekly. Hindi quarter, ha? Hindi quarter. Di gid na pwede ng quarter. Dili gid ta magbuot-buot og quarter because walang mangyayari diyan. Ilalagay lang yan sa gilid or ilalagay lang yan doon kung saan sa banda sa kanilang bahay. We will have it weekly. No? And we will also track our learners weekly also. So immediate assessment is necessary to immediately know if there is a need to give necessary instructional intervention. So paano natin ito gawin? So yan. So ito na ngayon. You can improve this one, no? Pero ang mukha niya, wag niyo nang baguhin. Pero pwede niyo you can use Excel, mas madali, no? Excel. So weekly learners tracking report. So weekly din ito, ma'am. Yes, weekly gani, no? Pumunta naman, ma'am. May nag-text, ma'am. Weekly gid siya, ma'am. Weekly gani ang title. The weekly gid siya nakatrabahoon. Okay? So, weekly learners tracking report, you will write the modality, whether it's modular, offline, online, or video. The schedule of classes, nandun naman, no? May binigay naman ako sa inyo sa elementary. For the secondary, I'll be preparing also. But I believe our school heads in the secondary, they also have, they already prepared theirs. So, ang ako na lang siguro is tanaw na ako ang ilang appropriateness sa ilang gihimo nga schedule of classes. So, libuton ng 11 schools, no? Tingnan ko ang inyong schedule of classes. But on the tracking, uniform tayo, ha? On the weekly learners tracking, we are going to have a uniform weekly learners tracking in all the 9 areas, hindi lang sa math. So, nakalagay dyan, learning area. So, name of student. So, first, column. Then, learner's outcome. Ma'am, what if, kung tag 20 lang ni, pwede gihapon, good, uy. Pwede raganig 10. Pero depende na sa learning package or module nga inyong gihimo kung pila ang inyong bearing sa points. We give you the leeway. This is only an example, no? Example of row scores. So 25 kung isa kasimana man ni, no? Isa kasimana. So na siya 20 This is for 1 week. So, kung 5 ka-activities by 25 ang iyahang bearing, so you will have 100. So, example ito. So, the total score is 100, but student A got only 85. So, para mas madali siya, hindi na tayo gumawa ng transmutation, nilagay ko na lang the total score, no? The total score or score obtained divided by the highest score. So the score obtained is 85 divided by 100, so you have 85 as your equivalent grade. EG is equivalent grade. So titingnan natin sa baba ang verbal description. So the verbal description of 85 is VS. Ma'am, kailangan yun siya, ma'am, nga naay verbal. Because of this pandemic, we need to motivate our learners. Dili ron time, no? Para we have to motivate them so that they are motivated to answer our learning package, to answer our activity. So, ang bata man gid child in us, no? Pag makita outstanding, ganahan kay na sila, no? Baka kitag VS ganahan kay na sila. So ma'am, dako kaayo ang iyahang 89 to 85 to 89, dako ra kayo. Let us give parang kung mahimo pa lang tanang maayo para sa bata, we will do that. Ngayon, let's go to the desired competencies. Nakita nimo, ay diri nga portion wala siya gyud kakuha kani nga code. So the desired competencies, what went well, what went wrong on that week, aning bata A, isulat lang nimo ang code. Code ra ang isulat aning desired competencies, no? Ma'am, wala man lagi nimo butangan diha code. Ako gani isulti na ro, no, na code lang ang ibutang nato. Then what went wrong, code lang pod. Ang majority, you listen, in one section, ABCD, section Maya, sa what went wrong niya, naakay katong common, ang kinadaghanan nga competencies, nakita nimo nga common sa imong mga bata nga dito sila naglisod. Paminaw ha? Doon sila nahirapan, naglisod sila ato. Katulang na majority code nga tanan naglisod na makita sa what went wrong ang imong himuang instructional intervention. Ma'am, unsaon na mo paghatag og instructional intervention nga wala man mi dito, wala man si teacher? So easy. Unsa ibutang nimo? Instructional intervention, provide additional, butin mo, naghimo kag worksheet para ma-kwanto, para ma-add, para muragag nag-reteach ba? Additional activity para ma-improve ang katong nga competency. So maghimo kag 5-item test sa imong worksheet. So ang imo ibutang diya sa imong instructional intervention, provide additional activity for code blah 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 ana, or to address difficulty of learners. Ana siya no. So isulat, provide activity sheets to code blah 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 excuse me, to address difficulty of learners. Ana, muna yung sulat nimo diha. Meaning to say, imong na-address kadto nga problema pagkasunod semana. So sunod semana pa man na nimo mahatag, no? Para sa sunod semana uban sa imong regular nga weekly nga learning package. So mo to imong ihatag sa bata, ipataba nimo sa imong learning package nga imong gi-reproduce anang sunod semana. So I hope it's clear, no? Ma'am, kami di ay ang mag-produce or mag-reproduce sa material. Kung ako ha, mas maayo, you teacher, you will reproduce your own, not reproduce, you reproduce, what I mean, reproduction, no? The reproduction must be done by you, ikaw gid mismo, no? By yourself. Kay nga naman, ikaw ang nakaibalo, kamo grade 2 teachers, magsabot mo. Mao man ni ang naka week 1, nakabutang naman dito, week 1, produce, week 2, week 3, ana. Nya kung naa ka intervention, ipataban dito. Ipataban to imong worksheet nga gusto nimong paansiran pod sa bata. Okay? So, dili gid siya ingon nga di siya, it's a good tool for us teachers to know that learning really happens at home. Learning really happens at home. Even if wala imong presensya. Because the moment that your learners learn, even, no, without the presence of the teacher, meaning, ikaw, wala imong presensya, nakat-on imong bata, meaning, you are that effective. Ngano man, nakatuon gani siya nga wala ka labaw, nagnaa ka. Ma'am, dili good na ma'am, ay kay sa classroom na mo, maski unsaon na mong tumbling dugay, kay sila kasabot, tell you teachers. Maybe nakita ko yan because sa kadami-daming subjects in a day, with the kind of learners that we have, the learning span or the time span that they have, murag mo feel good sila boring, no? Natagan pa na daghang assignment ni samot. Now with this scheme, with this new normal, tan-aw na to that they are only having this few number of subjects in a week. Let us see, no? Plus the help of their parents, let us see. Ma'am, nagod may mga parents, wag kay balo. That's not a problem. As I have said, we are going to do something to address that problem. So wag nating pangunahan ang lahat, no? Let's embrace this new normal. Okay? And let's take this new normal positively. Ang dami namang nangyayaring maganda even if meron ito. No, maraming nangyayaring maganda. One is nakikita natin ang ating mga bata, they just stay at home and then na-practice tong kanabang building family, close tie of the family. Okay? So let's proceed. So that's our weekly learners tracking report. Ma'am, portrait landscape. So po. Portrait landscape. Itong si JR siguro or si Jason or si Freddy, siguro that you can come up with one weekly learners tracking in landscape na makita na doon ang 4 na linggo. Mamaya tatanungin natin no pagkatapos ko kung pwede siya in one coupon ban legal, makita na doon para hindi kayo palagi magsulat. Makita na doon yung yung 4 na linggo. Magiging parang isang coupon ban, isang legal size na coupon ban, 4 weeks na ang makita. Matanungin natin mamaya sila Jason, yung mga expert natin. Okay, proceed tayo. Ngayon, ito yung ating sample class schedules. I also presented this one to our DTOT, no? Nandun yun, parang relax. At makikita din dito sa class schedule, talagang sinadya ko na lagyan din ito ng instructional intervention or remediation para makita mo, ma-quote mo agad, pero nasa iyo yan, whether to write it here or to write it also here or yun lang, doon na lang sa weekly tracking natin. We will discuss mamaya kung anong majority na lalabas. Now, yung wala sa DTOT, pag sinabi nating home call, sa Webster Dictionary, parang ang doctor, a doctor says the patient at home, murag ana, no? Pero in the Instagram, nakita ko, parang isa services, parang isa services, but there is a duty really of a certain person on that certain hour. So, kaya ginawa ko home call. Parang ganon. So, ano mga duties nito? Yun, that includes na yung paghugas ng plato, nandun naman talaga yon. Yung pagbibihis nila, pag-exercise nila, yung mga ganon na routine. Then, ito yon, week 1, week 2, for grade 1, for grade 2, and grade 3 to 6. No? Ito lahat na subjects. So, ibibigay ko rin, binigay ko na ito sa PSDS and the PSDS will share this one to your school heads, to your respective school heads. So, you will notice we only have 4 subjects in a day. Para in 1 week, 4 lang talaga ang kanilang focus. So, si teacher din, hindi rin siya cramming. Para pagbalik ng output sa school, 4 lang din muna yung i-check niya. At saka 4 lang din muna ang kanyang bigyan ng instructional intervention. So, lighter siya, no? Para parang it's a learning environment that is ang approach niya is positive. Both learners and teachers. Kasi si teacher, you will be preparing 1 week, no? 1 DLR or 1 lesson exemplar in a week. So, lighter siya. Plus, the recording is also a week. So, hindi siya masyado nagkarambola. This example is for the elementary. But we also suggest to the secondary school heads and senior high school heads to adapt the same. But I believe for the senior high school, you will have your offering of the subject by term. So, sige lang, it's by term, no? Sige. So, that's it. Okay, let's proceed. So, that ends, no? That ends my presentation and lalabas tayo for the discussion, okay? So, mamaya na yung So, stop share muna ako para discussion tayo immediately. So, that's it. Hoping na nakuha ba natin mga teachers? We are now 98. I'm so happy, no? I'm so happy. Nakuha ba natin? Hello, teachers? Nakuha ba? Please unmute your
Yes,
And then,
ma'am.
tanungin ko daw yung ating mga experts, sila Jason or anyone, pwede ba natin gawa ng paraan yung weekly tracking, gawin na lang nating, weekly pa rin siya, pero gawin nating, parang 4 weeks. Pwede ba? Kaya bang gawin yon? Isang coupon ban? Could it be possible? Anyone? Jason? JR? Dili. What I mean is, bahalagdagan ng estudyante, bahalag tulo upat ka coupon, 2 coupon ban, pero ang akong gusto makita nga, pwede ba nga katong week 1, week 2, week 3 nya. Pero urag lain tan-aw, no? How was it? So, mahimo siyang gagmay. Okay. Sige. Sige. Remain na yon. Hindi na yon lagdagan ng week kasi magiging maliit. At saka, may nakita pala akong problema. Seram, no? Ang problema pala doon pag dagdagan natin ng week, ang problema doon, yung code ng that particular week at saka yung intervention, basig magsagol-sagol. Sige. Let's have it remain, no? Yun na yun. Tama din kasi kung tinitinan ko kasi na para isang tinginan lang ni teacher ba, ana, isa katingin. Pura ko class record nga o talpulano. Pero dili day pud pwede gihapon kay naaman tong katong what went well, what went wrong ya instructional intervention. So dili day siya gihapon feasible. Sige. Remain. I will now entertain questions, queries. Si Ram at saka Ma'am Winky, lubos-lubusin ko na lang ito, ha?
Yes,
Para,
ma'am.
sige. Yes, do you have questions this time? Queries? Anyone? Sige, tanong na kayo ngayon ng tanong para ma-address natin. May mga chat ba tayo, Sir Ram and Ma'am Winky? Baka
Okay, basahin natin yung mga chat. Okay.
Yes, oo.
Mga ma'am and sir, you can write your questions dito sa ating chat box dahil babasahin natin.
Yes.
Sabi ni Ma'am Angelita Perez, sabi niya, thank you Ma'am Fe for very comprehensive explanation. God bless you po. So wala pa po mga tanong. Teachers, pag may mga tanong kayo, you can freely post now to our chat, in our chat box.
Yes.
Yeah. So dapat ngayon tanong niyo na lahat yung mga nasa isip ninyo para clear na tayo yung direction natin. Adyan na by August 24.
Question, ma'am.
Yes, Ma'am Emery.
Okay, so ang subject nato, ma'am, pag-conduct is Monday to Saturday.
Yes. Yes, Monday to Saturday. Ang intention yan, kung nakinig kayo kahapon sa ano yun na station, Sir Ram?
Gold FM, 98.3.
Gold FM. Okay. It's Monday to Saturday, back up with legal basis, DepEd Order number 7. Nandun yung kailangan natin mag-Saturday para in lieu of the school days na wala tayo, para we could end up March. So, ang release ng materials ninyo, I hope nag-usap na kayo with your parents kailan i-release, kailan din ibalik. No.
Ayun.
Depende na yun ng schools kung anong articulations ninyo.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, meron ba tayong question sa ating chat box? Parang wala pa po, ma'am.
Okay, may
mga katanungan pa ba tayo?
Lang, pero wala na mga katanungan. Baka meron pa. Okay, live din tayo sa YouTube, ma'am. Sa YouTube, baka may mga tanong din.
Tingnan daw natin kung may mga comments sa YouTube.
Wala pa din.
Yan,
Parang
wala pa.
meron ako nakita. What is the meaning of
Ayun.
Ayan. VD.
verbal description po? Verbal description.
Okay.
So, kung outstanding, no?
Yun, yung very satisfactory.
Very satisfactory. Yan.
Ayan. Parang description. Verbal description.
Yes, oo.
Okay.
Okay, any questions po? Okay, wala na. Okay, Ma'am Fe, ako na lang po magtatanong.
Sir Dar. On hold Sir Dar ha. Kunapa ko sa akong mass orientation. Sige.
Okay.
Sige,
Para may
go.
katanungan si Ma'am Winky.
Yes, Winky.
Sabi mo kanina, Ma'am, we can already start printing our division materials in all learning areas. So, sa lahat po ba ito, Ma'am, from grade 1 to 11, pwede na kami makapag-start?
You can now start doing your reproduction, no? The learning materials na nandun na sa kamay ng inyong mga LR.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Jason. So, andun na kay Jason, ha? LR kasi si Jason, alam niya.
Okay, ma'am. Meron ding katanungan dito is from Sir Esmael Reyna. Sabi po ng LR namin, hindi po daw ma-open yung learning package.
Ha?
Meron siyang katanungan na hindi po daw ma-open yung learning package, sabi ng LR.
Sir Jason, please answer. Okay.
Okay.
Use your DepEd account according to one of our LR. Restricted siya, no? So, dapat DepEd account lang yun ang inyong gamiton.
Ayan. Meron pa ba tayong katanungan dyan, Ma'am Inkilin?
Okay, wala na. So far,
information lang. Doon na tayo sa activities pag wala ng katanungan, ha? Okay, wala na?
Excuse.
Parang wala na dito, Ma'am.
Meron pa, Ma'am. Meron pang nag-excuse. Yes, Ma'am.
Ma'am, excuse. So about talking about the modules, ma'am, ang nadawat sa among LR in charge, ma'am, it's only grade 1, 2, 4, and 5. Walang grade 6 po.
Okay. Sagutin ni Sir Freddy yan. Sir Freddy, answer. Saan ang grade 6 natin?
Hello, ma'am. Morning.
Good morning.
As of now, ma'am, sa grade 6, napa po sa activity 20 po, ma'am. This week siguro, mapasa na ako, ma'am.
Okay.
Mulat lang ni ma'am. Okay po, okay.
Sige.
Yan, meron pa ba?
Okay, we will proceed to the activities na.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so
Okay,
much,
so
Ma'am
kung wala nang
Sibuan.
tanong, let's go, Ma'am Winky. Diretsuhin ko na ito, ha? Tuhog-tuhog na lang kasi para dire-diretso. Andito na, kasi masaya ako kasi we are now reaching up to 100 participants.
Yes, ma'am.
Please get na, wag daw ialis ang video para yung documentation natin will be clear. Please, Ma'am Emery. Ma'am Emery.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And please, wala tayo muna ngayon mag-alias, yung guwapito, mga ninja, alisin na muna natin yan.
Okay.
May lumabas na naman dito, student. Sino ito si student? I-rename. Kindly rename. Ano ito, sir student or ma'am student?
Okay, so let's remind our participants na i-rename yung ating pangalan dyan. Dapat pangalan natin yung
So I'd
real
like to
name talaga
request
natin.
yes sir, I'd like to request our documentation committee to to have the documentation by slides, no? By slides.
Okay.
Including those nung mga audience natin using the Facebook platform. Okay, let's go to the activities na. So we're done with the content, we're done with the presentation on what's the premise of this mass orientation. We're done also on what to prepare by the teacher, what is expected by the teacher to our from our learners, and what we're going to do, yung ating pag-record, lahat-lahat. So, nabigay ko na. Let's go now to the activities. We will still have si student kay kuan kinsa ni siya si ma'am, a student baka student talaga. Okay, let us we are going to conduct our annual division festival or Math Sci Quest. But it will be done virtual. Virtual, no? Even the interactive skills will also be conducted virtually. So we will andun na yung planning ng engagement on how we are going to do with that. Hopefully ma-attain din natin the same energy, the same kumbaga tawag natin, the same motivation, no, sa ating mga learners. We will not stop. They can do the Tower of Hanoi at home. Why not? 'Di ba? They could also do ang hindi lang siguro magawa natin yung damat kasi very siya. Pero yung Tower of Hanoi that can be done individually, even at home, we will have it. So meron din tayong awarding, may graduation, i-graduation ka na pa bang i-awarding. So all of those, no? Mayroon tayong MTAP. We will provide materials. Mas lalong-lalo na ngayon effective si MTAP because they will just be staying at home. Ma'am, wala man si teacher mo review sa bata. We will have it let us not discount the talents of our learners, no, kumbaga yung advancement nila, no, let's not discount. Merong ibubuga yan. Okay, ma'am, basig magpatudlo sa parent, that's possible, yes. Ang importante, they are learning together. So imbis nga
Nawala.
sila.
Nawala po.
So, again, we are going to have, we're going to have our division Math Sci Quest virtually. And we are still going to have our MTAP, enhanced MTAP. Yung dalawang activities na yon, hindi yun mawawala. You just wait for further memorandum or announcement to that activities. So, when are we going to hold that one? Ang plano ko, we will have it December. Parang it's a Christmas, no? Para hindi boring yung life nila. They cannot go out, so they will have their, Paano ang competition yan, ma'am? Simultaneous, at home lang, si Tower of Hanoi. Tapos meron tayong mga, di ba si Tower of Hanoi, Sir Ram? Time man ang time is the element.
Yes, ma'am. Time is the element
Time is
po.
the element. And juggling, makita naman ni, ni arbiter kahit virtual, di ba? Same lang.
Yes po.
Okay, so we could have it. Ano pang mga individual events natin, yun ang ating i-engage by December for our division Math Sci Quest.
Wow.
So, wala
We
na.
have question here, ma'am.
You have
May
questions?
question
Yes.
po from Ma'am Agnes.
From Ma'am
Yes.
Agnes Ronquillo, sabi niya po, from Magugpo, Pilot Emelda. Ma'am, good day. Nahatagan na ba og soft copy ang MPIES?
Parang hindi ako ang dapat tanungin yan. Kasi ang role ko is to release.
Okay.
Tanungin
Nasa
siguro
LR
niya
daw.
Sir.
tanungin
Ang
siguro
LR.
niya ang LR nila kung
LR in charge.
ano,
Opo.
yes.
LR in charge.
Sir Jason, Paano ba ang releasing, Sir Jason? Can you tell everyone?
I-email mo yung mga LR na nasa Google Drive.
Nasa Google? Naka-Google
Google Drive,
Drive?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yun. So, yun ang ginawa ng ating LR.
Okay, some more questions? Wala pa
Wala
ba?
na. So that we can proceed to our activity
Yes,
this
thank
morning.
you very much, everyone. And I'd like to extend to our technical team headed by Sir JR, Sir Jason, and the rest na hindi ko nakikita. Pakita mo si Sir JR, si Sir Exates,
Sir Joey.
nasa likod, si Sir Joey Sinopol, isa lang nasa likod, si Sir Freddy, si Mamako,
Yes.
sino pa yan? Oh, sige,
Ayun.
sige. So, thank you very much. And of course, Ma'am Emery and the coordinators ng mathematics, magkita-kita tayo ng face-to-face. I miss you all. Nakita na ko si Ma'am Imelda Valduesa, pero wala ko nadalaan ani kutsinta. And the rest, si Ma'am Gregorio, yung ating mga coordinators, active coordinators ng mathematics. Thank you very much, nakita na ako, we're so active, tayo na team, tayo na discipline, talagang walang iwanan, tayo lang nakakatapos ng lahat na tingnan ninyo ang output natin sa learning package. That's the work of our brilliant teacher, Sir Freddy Lilisa. Malinis na malinis at magandang maganda. But teachers, beware not to share that to other regions. Kaya meron akong narinig na may nagbebenta. Wag po. That's for our consumption. So thank you very much, everyone. Hoping that mawala na si COVID so we could meet in one place na nabugnaw, na ipainit, i-deliver, maglingkod lang tanya, mutindog na pod, kaon na pod, mulingkod na pod. So kani wa gyud gastong gobyerno. Load lang, dugay pa gyud mahatag. So again, thank you very
Correct.
much. And good morning, unya, padayon sa program. Sir JR, Sir Jason, take charge. Thank you and bye-bye. I still have to attend my meeting, another meeting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sumulib na ko ha. Pero ayaw gid mo panglayas, ha? 100, dili good mo Please hold on the presentation of MELC. Importante yan, yung most essential learning competencies that will be delivered by, sino ba? By
Ma'am Mako,
Ma'am Rose Mako,
Ma'am Sarilia, and Ma'am Flores.
Saria, and Ma'am Alona Flores. And lesson exemplar by Sir JR. So teachers, paminaw please, sa tapad ninyo naagid mo yung notes because I draw certain instruction to them to really emphasize what is needed in adhering this new normal using our MELC and lesson exemplars. So thank you very much and happy landing August 24, 2020. So, lahat tayo dapat ready. So, for mathematics group, thank you very much again and good morning.
Okay, wow, thank you very much, Ma'am Sibuan. That was a blast of information, updates, and encouragement from our very own OIC CID Chief, as well as FC in Mathematics, Dr. Maria Fe Sibuan. Thank you very much, Ma'am. Indeed, she never fails to push us forward. And it's really true, ang math division team, pinaka-abtik sa tanang disciplines. Diba, Sir Ram?
Yes, abtik yun.
Okay. And now to finally jump into our main discussion this morning, let us walk through the MELCs. Ano nga ba itong MELC? What is MELC? Sige nga, for the participants, You can write on the chat box the meaning of the acronym MELC.
Oh,
What is MELC?
tingnan natin kung ano yung MELC.
Sige nga, paunahan na eh. Unsa ng MELC? Okay, anyone? MELC?
Ayan.
Wow, upstick from Ma'am Angelita Perez, my previous co-teacher in Magupo Pilot Central. She said it's the most essential learning competencies. Very good. Thank you, Ma'am. Kinaapoy bang nag-answer? Very good. Right, yung mga math teachers. Okay, so Ram.
Yes, very good po kayo. The MELC means most essential learning competencies. Tama po kayo. And this morning, we will discuss per level the MELC in mathematics. So per level ito, ma'am, the junior high school and senior high school teachers should listen to the discussion of the MELCs of the elementary dahil dito mo makikita ang pagiging spiral ng ating curriculum. And also the elementary teachers to the MELCs of the junior high school and the senior high school. Makinig talaga tayo. No? For the elementary, our resource speaker is Ma'am Rosario L. Maco of Magupo Pilot Central Elementary School. And for the junior high school, we have our resource speaker, Ma'am Melissa Kip A. Sarilla of Tagum City National High School. And for the senior high school, we have our resource speaker is Ma'am Alona Flores of Tagum City National High School.
Okay, let's start with the elementary level. Participants, live ta sa YouTube. And of course, here's the Zoom. Ready na ba mo? For elementary level, let's prepare to listen to. May we call in our dazzling in elegance, ever beautiful speaker, Ma'am Rosario L. Maco from Magupo Pilot Central Elementary School. Virtual likes, please. Virtual likes. Ma'am Maco, Ma'am Rose, you will now have the screen.
To our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Josephine L. Fadol, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Christine C. Bagakay, CID Chief, Dr. Maria Fe Sibuan, SGOD Chief, Dr. Josefina Palaka, all the Fs, all the PSSs, school administrators, especially Dr. J. E. Relos, master teachers, all school math coordinators, both elementary and secondary. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the session and the walkthrough of the most essential learning competencies. This aims to present the rationale and process behind the development of the list of the most essential competency. The Department of Education, through the Bureau of Curriculum Development Curriculum Standards Development Division, has developed the most essential learning competency for all learning areas to address the challenges brought about by the global pandemic. With the K-12 curriculum framework, the twin goals are inside at the center of the star, which are the critical thinking, the problem solving. So let us review the K-12 curriculum framework. When we speak about critical thinking, the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, analyzing, synthesizing, and or evaluating information gathered from, generated by the observation, experience, experiment, and reflection, reasoning, and communication as a guide to belief and action. When we speak about problem solving, it is finding a way around the difficulty, around the obstacle, and finding the solution to the problem that is unknown. And the content domain for all the grade levels, we will start with number and number sense. measurement, geometry, patterns and algebra, statistics, and probability. The K to 12 most essential learning competencies. Number one, we are not to departure from the K to 12 curriculum. Two, standards, content and performance standards retain. Three, focus on attainment of the 21st century. Four, the codes and tag materials are retained for merged and retained competencies. Five, all learning areas will still be taught. Six, aligned with Sulong Educalidad framework. Okay. So, let us now compare the desirable learning competencies to the essential learning competency. When we speak about desirable learning competency, what may enhance education but may not be necessary in building foundational skills. But for essential learning competency, what the student need considered indispensable in the teaching learning process to building skills to equip learners for subsequent grade levels and consequently for lifelong learning. The characteristics of essential learning competency. One, it is aligned with the national, state, and or local standards framework. Example, scientifically literate Filipino. Two, it connects content to higher concept across content areas. Three, it is applicable to real life situation. Four, if the students left school after the grade, it would be important to them to have the competence above many others. Five, it would be expected that most students would learn this through the parents' communities if not taught in school. Okay. Let us now speak with endurance. When we speak about endurance, it is the learning competency considered enduring. If it remains with the learners long after a test or unit of study is completed, or if it is useful beyond a single test or unit of study. We have there the examples of such learning competencies include research skills, reading comprehension, writing, map reading, hypothesis testing, which are essential in many professions and in everyday life. Now, the process of identifying the most essential learning competencies. We started with the K to 12 curriculum guide, the essential learning competency, to the most essential learning competency. These are the process that the DepEd, strong particularly the specialists from the Bureau of Curriculum Development, had done before the MELCs are issued and downloaded to the field. Okay. From the learning competency to the MELCs, we have there the essential learning competency to the most learning competency. The MELCs will enable the department to focus instruction to the most essential and indispensable competencies that our learners must acquire as we anticipate challenges in learning delivery. It will also lighten the burden of converting classroom-oriented learning resources into the learning resources adapted to distance learning. Okay, from the learning competency to the most learning competency. We have there, number one, mapping of essential and desirable competency, identifying the prerequisite knowledge and skills within the learning area. Three, analysis of interconnectedness of the prerequisite knowledge and skills among learning competencies across the learning areas. This is another tedious work being done for the mapping of essential and desirable competencies, identifying the prerequisite knowledge and skills within the learning area, and analysis of the interconnectedness of prerequisite knowledge and skills among learning competency across the learning areas. From the LCs to MELCs, we have there the essential learning. So, what the students need considered indispensable to the building skills to equip learners to the next grade level and for the lifelong learning. Desirable LCs, what may enhance education but not be necessary in building foundation skills. So again, we emphasize that desirable competencies are those may enhance but not may be necessary in building foundation skills. So the LCs are those who are enduring for the lifelong learning. So identifying the MELCs or the most essential learning competencies, it remains the learners long after a test or unit of study is completed. If it is useful beyond a single test or unit of study, example, we have research, skills, reading comprehension, writing, map reading, and hypothesis testing, which are essential in many professions and in everyday life by Reeves 2002, Maney and Horrell 2014. Again, emphasis endurance is the determinant factor in identifying or naming a competency as essential. Okay, from the learning competencies to MELCs, we have there, as we have known that there are competencies from the K to 12 were retained in MELCs, some are merged, some are replaced, and dropped. When we speak about retain, it satisfies the endurance criterion, contributes to lifelong learning, and the prerequisite skills to the next grade level. Some are merged because two or more learning competencies that have the same objective or learning intention are combined into one comprehensive learning competency. Rephrase to make the statement of the learning competency more concise. Dropped learning competency that is too specific, recurring, subsumed in another learning competency. Okay, let's now proceed to the comparison of the K to 12 and the most essential learning competency as to their number of competency. Example in grade 1, first grading, 16 from the K to 12. In the MELCs, it becomes 10. Second grading, 20, it becomes 11. Third grading, 16, it becomes 10. Fourth grading, 14, it becomes 7. So in grade 1, first quarter, for example, competency number 16, 16 becomes 10, were dropped, merged, retained, and rephrased. Now for the second quarter, we have competency number 30, 31 to 33 were merged and rephrased. Visualizes, it is merged, visualizes, represent, and subtract. For grade 2, first grading, 23, it becomes 19. Second quarter, 17 to 10. Third quarter, 25 to 10. Fourth quarter, 25 to 10. Okay, competency number 24, action taken, retain. because it satisfies the endurance criterion. Competency number 25 are merged and replaced. The reasons are related and may be harmonized, unified for the most focused development of the concept and skills. Grade 3. First quarter, 23 becomes 9. Second quarter, 23 becomes 9. Third quarter, 17 to 9. Fourth quarter, 21 to 10. So, competencies were dropped for the reason creates problem is more of teacher's action. So, objective creates problem, it is more of teacher's action, and it does not meet the endurance criterion. Let's now proceed to grade 4. Okay, we have first grading 21, it becomes 10. Second grading 23 to 10. Third grading 20 and 9. Fourth grading 22 and it becomes 9. In grade 4, about learning competency about measurement, number 69, 71, 73, 76 were dropped. The reason is learning competency is more of teacher's action, does not meet the endurance criterion. Let's now proceed to grade 5. First grading 21, learning competency for MELCs, it becomes 10. Second grading 23, now becomes 10. Third grading 20, then 10. Fourth grading 22, and it becomes 9. So the reason is for fourth quarter, learning competency 82, 85, 83, 93, 97, 107 were dropped. Because in objective creates problems, the right formula is more on teacher's action. Same as sum in learning competency number 83. Now, the last one for the grade 6. First quarter, learning K-12 competency 27. For MELCs, it becomes 10. Second grading 23, it becomes 10. Third grading 23, 10. Fourth grading, we have 17 and 9. So, for second quarter, for example, learning competency number 44 represents integers on the number line. Learning competency 45 compares and arranges integers were merged and replaced for the reason that learning competencies are related and may be harmonized, unified for more focused development of the concept and skills. Now, in an unpacking of MELCs, and we have to unpack the most learning competency. Why unpack? Because there are competencies are too ambiguous, too narrow, and or reflect different kinds of goals simultaneously. Okay. We have here an example of unpack most learning competency for grade 1 first quarter. So I will give only grade 1. So for week 1, numbers and number sense. So the first objective there is visualizes and represent numbers from 0 to 100 using a variety of materials. So we made it from day 1, 1 to 30, day 2, 31 to 50 using variety of materials. Then day 3, 51 to 70 using variety of materials. Then day 5, we have 71 to 100. Okay, this is just an example. Okay, in our division, all the most learning competencies will already unpacked by yours truly from grade 1 to grade 6. This is also the basis in making our modules. Okay, for this, To all the participants, thank you for viewing and listening. This is Rosario El Maco of Mag-Opo Pilot Central Elementary School. Again, thank you. Be inspired and motivated. Have a nice day, everyone.
Wow, thank you, Ma'am Mako.
Manako.
That was a comprehensive discussion about elementary MELCs in mathematics. No, ang dami palang na-retain, na-drop, na-rephrase, and na-merge na mga learning competencies. Now, let's proceed to the junior high school. I'm requesting everyone, especially the junior high school teachers, to focus your attention to our speaker. May we call in our next speaker, the highly organized, soft-spoken, yet so smart, Ma'am Melissa Keith Aceria of Tagum City National High School. Let's give her our virtual live. Good morning, ma'am.
Dili, wa man yung pangalan. Hello. Good morning,
Morning, ma'am.
everyone. I guess somebody failed to turn off their mics. Okay, thank you very much. So, good morning once again. I am Mrs. Melissa Keith A. Cerilia from Tagum City National High School. And I am tasked this morning to be with you in our walkthrough of the junior high school MELC. Sir Ram, can I now share my slides, my
Yes,
screen?
ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so we have here walkthrough with the MELCs in mathematics, especially in the junior high school level. So before I go to our main topic, okay, so reminder for everyone on how to use the MELCs in math. So number one is to appraise the content standards in each quarter of your grade level. So remember that the content standard guides us in tracking the learning content being focused per quarter. Why is it that I have to mention this? Because there are times that since we read a lot of books, there are times that we are tempted to incorporate a lot of things in our lesson, thus sacrificing the time element. So please, teachers, let us all continue to appraise the content standards per quarter. Ano ba talaga yung mga learning contents na dapat natin i-focus? Number two is to plan the instructional activities based on performance standards. So it says here, we need to design instructional activities or tasks suited for the type of learning delivery modality being used. And always, we need to contextualize the learning task whenever necessary. In this case, um, there would be a tendency that we will be overwhelmed with different platforms that we need to use in delivering the lessons, but um, let us stay rooted. No, we might be tempted to have several instructional activities. Again, we might ano maapektuhan ang atohang time frame. So third is we need to examine the identified MELCs for each quarter. Yes, time allotment is flexible but should never be compromised. And number four, we should design activities or assignment tasks dealing with problem solving and analysis, which is the very core of our CG in math. Okay. Next is, um, here is the comparison of the number of learning competencies in the original CG and the identified essential learning competencies, and lastly, the most essential learning competencies. In our old CG, for grade 7, there are 64 learning competencies. But in the MELC, we now have 53. For grade 8, there are 57 learning competencies in the original CG. And for the MELC now, there are only 52, a difference of 5. And for grade 9, in the original CG, we have 48. And in the MELC, we have 46. And lastly, for the grade 10, we have 51 learning competencies in the original CG. And then for the MELCs, we now have 40. Okay? So we will go through that one by one later. But first, let me present another table. Okay, for grade 7, 72% of the learning competencies found in the original CG has been retained. 20% are merged and rephrased, while only 5% has been dropped. So we are expecting na wala masyadong changes in the junior high school na mga learning competencies. For grade 8, 84% of the learning competencies in the original CG are retained, while only 14% has been merged and rephrased, and only 2% has been dropped. So for grade 9, wala masyadong changes. For grade 9, yung grade 9 ang parang medyo talagang pinaka-stable sa lahat. 96% of their learning competencies are retained and only 4% were dropped. Walang na-merge, walang na-rephrase. And for grade 10, we have 70% na mga learning competencies ang na-retained, while 18% ang na-merge and na-rephrase, and 12% ang na-drop. Okay, let's start with the grade 7 in our walkthrough. By the way, for grade 7 math, I have used the K-12 Mathematics Curriculum Guide, December 2013 version. If you are using the December 2013 version, please take note that the learning competencies were not properly numbered. Hindi continuous yung pagka-number ng mga learning competencies. For the first quarter, the learning competencies were numbered numbers 1 to 19. And then, pagdating sa second grading, bumalik siya ng number 1. So, kindly recheck your old CG. Because if the numberings, yung pag-number ng mga learning competencies ay hindi tama, then you will find the changes confusing. So grade 7 math teachers, kindly renumber the competencies in your curriculum guide. So for grade 7, originally for first quarter, there are 19 learning competencies. But in the MELCs, there are now 15. So bakit naging 15? So first is that we have competencies 1 and 2, which has been merged and rephrased. So competency number 1, in the old CG, you have there describes well-defined sets, subsets, universal sets, and null set and cardinality of sets. Competency number 2, you have illustrates the union and intersection of sets and the difference of two sets. So these two learning competencies in the MELCs have been merged and rephrased. I want you to carefully observe the merge slash rephrase learning competencies in the MELC. So we now have illustrate well-defined sets, subsets, universal sets, null set, cardinality of sets, union and intersection of sets, and the difference of two sets. Okay, so nakita nyo na observe yung paano nag-merge and paano na-rephrase. Even if it's merged or rephrased, so ano lang siya, nandun pa rin yung two competencies. So 1 and 2 has been merged and rephrased. Next is we have competencies 3 and 4. So for the merge and rephrase, we now have solve problems involving sets. That's competency number 4. And then with the use of Venn diagram, that is now competency number 3. Okay, so that's the second. Next is we have competencies 18 and 19. For the MELCs, we now have represents real-life situations. That's actually competency number 18. And then solves problems involving real numbers. That's competency number 19. So as I have said a while ago, for the first quarter, you have 19 learning competencies. In the MELCs, you now have 15. So bakit naging 15? 1 and 2 has been merged. 3 and 4 has been merged. 18 and 19 nag-merge. Ito lang, we are math teachers. 19 minus 15 should be 4. I don't know what happened to competency number 9. So yung fourth na competencies na nawala is number 9. I don't know what happened, pero when I check the curriculum guide, nawala yung competency number 9. Next, we have quarter 2. For the second quarter in the old CG, you have 22 and sa MELCs naging 16. Bakit naging 16? What happened? Okay. So competencies number 20, which is illustrating what it means to measure, and 21, which describes the development of measurement from the primitive to the present international system of units. These two competencies has been dropped. Why? Because they did not meet the endurance criterion. Aside from this, you have competencies 25 and 36, which has been merged and rephrased. For the MELC, we now have translates English phrases to mathematical phrases and English sentences to mathematics sentences and vice versa. Why they are merged and rephrased? Learning competencies having the same mathematical focus and foundational skills are merged or clustered and rephrased. What else? For the second quarter, we also have competencies 26, 27, and 29 that has been merged. So with all this, by the way, meron pa, We also have, by the way, 35 and 37, also merge and rephrase. So, naging differentiates algebraic expressions and equations. That's actually competency number 25. And inequalities, which is competency number 27. Okay? So for the second quarter, originally you have 22. For the MELCs, you now have 16. So 22 minus 16, there's a difference of 6. Ano yung 6? We have competencies 25 and 36, which are merged. 26, 27, and 29, which are merged. 35 and 37, which are also merged. And then, na-drop yung competencies 20 and 21. So, nakuha mga grade 7 math teachers. Okay. And then, moving on, we have mathematics grade 7, the third quarter. Originally, there are 11 learning competencies in the old CG that we have. Now that in the MELCs, still 11. So in the third quarter, kung ano yung pacing nyo before, the same thing. Walang changes kasi 11 din lang. And lastly, for the fourth quarter, originally you have 12. Ngayon, sa MELCs, naging 11. Bakit naging 11? Because competency number 53, which explains the importance of statistics, has been dropped for the reason that it did not meet the endurance criterion. Okay? So, from 64 sa grade 7, naging 53 na lang. Okay. Let's proceed. For grade 8, mathematics, quarter 1. Originally, you have 20 learning competencies. Ngayon, naging 18 na lang. Bakit naging 18? Anong nangyari? So we have competencies number 9 and 10 merge and rephrased. So we now have illustrates, that's competency number 19, and finds, competency number 10, the slope of a line given 2 points, equation, and graph. And also, we have competencies 19 and 20, merge and rephrase. Solves problems involving, that's competency number 20. Systems of linear equations in 2 variables by graphing, substitution, and elimination. So, why is it that we say that they have the same focus? Kasi when we nag-merge na siya, yung problems natin are always real life problems, di ba? Okay. So, from 20 naging 18 kasi 9 and 10 nag-merge, 19 and 20 nag-merge as well. Next, grade 8, quarter 2. Originally, you have 19. This time, naging 16. So, there is a difference of 3. Ano yung tatlo na difference? We have competencies 21 and 23 na merge. You have 25 na drop. Bakit siya na drop? Kasi yung 25, it is already subsumed in competency number 26. And the third one is that 31 and 32 merge, and rephrase. So, yun yung tatlo na ano, na difference. Let's proceed to the third quarter. Originally, merong 8 competencies, sa MELCs 8 pa din. Walang changes. As well as the fourth quarter ng grade 8. Originally, may 10 sa MELCs, meron ding 10. So, walang changes. Dun lang sa first at saka second quarter. Let's proceed to Math Grade 9, quarter number 1. Originally, there are 16 learning competencies, sa MELCs 16. So, walang changes for grade 9 sa first quarter. For the second quarter, originally, may 12. Ngayon sa MELCs, 11. So, there is isa na difference. Ano yung isa na nawala? Okay? Learning competency number 21 has been dropped. Bakit? Because it is already subsumed in learning competency number 22. When we say subsumed, parang napaloob na siya sa learning competency number 22. And then, for the third quarter, we have originally, there are 14 learning competencies, and then ngayon, naging 12. So, merong difference na dalawa. Okay. So ano yung difference na yon? Learning competency number 29 has been dropped. Bakit na-drop yung learning competency number 29? It is already subsumed in learning competency number 30. And lastly, for the fourth quarter, originally, merong 6 sa MELCs, 6 pa din. So, walang changes sa fourth quarter. So, wala gaanong movement for grade 9. Meron lang 2 learning competencies na affected. Learning competency number 21 and number 29, both of these competencies were dropped. Kasi for the reason na napaloob na sa next na learning competency.
Yes.
Lastly, let's proceed to Mathematics Grade 10, first quarter. Originally, there are 18 learning competencies, sa MELCs naging 12 na lang. So 18 minus 12, there is a difference of 6. Ano yung difference na 6? So 3 and 4 nag-merge. So instead na separated yung arithmetic means and arithmetic sequence to the arithmetic series, they have been merged and rephrased. Kasi pareho man lang silang ng focus at saka ng foundational skills. What else? We have competency number 7 that is dropped. 8 and 9 nag-merge. The same thing with arithmetic sequence. Yung geometric means, geometric sequence na sa original separated from geometric series, nag-merge at saka ni-rephrase. What else? We have competency number 10, which has been dropped. So sa mga grade 10 teachers, we are no longer required to include harmonic sequence and Fibonacci sequence na i-discuss pa sa klase. Also, di ba, we have 6 different. So number 5, we have 13 and 16 merged, and rephrased. So, remainder theorem, factor theorem, rational root theorem, iisa na lang sila na competencies. And lastly, yung pang-anim na difference, learning competency number 17 has been dropped. Why is it dropped? Yung polynomial equations, kasi it is already subsumed in learning competency number 18. So, it doesn't mean na hindi na tayo magdi-discuss ng polynomial equations. As we discuss word problem solving, nandun na yung skills ng bata in solving polynomial equations. So, that's the difference na 6. For the second quarter, originally we have 14. Sa MELCs, we now have 12. Ano yung difference na 2? We have number 20, yung graphing polynomial functions, hindi yun nawala, pero rephrase lang. Wala siyang ka-merge. So instead na graph polynomial functions, understand, describe, and interpret graphs of polynomial functions lang. So hindi yun rephrase lang siya, nandun pa din. So ano yung 3 na difference? We have numbers 27 that is dropped. So hindi na tayo mag-derive ng distance formula. What else? 31 and 32 has been merged and rephrased. So we solve problems at the same time graph na. At saka, yung third na difference, yung third, dalawa lang pala, no, yung difference from, we have 14 to 12. Next, let's proceed to the third quarter. Originally, there are 12, ngayon 10 na lang. So there is a difference of 2 competencies. Ano yung difference na 2 competencies? We have competencies number 34 and 38. Hindi na tayo magdi-derive ng formula ng permutation at saka hindi na tayo magdi-derive ng formula ng combination. They do not meet the endurance criterion. And lastly, for the fourth quarter, we have 6 learning competencies in the old CG. Now, we still have 6. So for the mathematics grade 10 teachers, wala tayong changes sa last quarter ng school year. So that is the end of my presentation. I hope that everything is clear. Let's go back to Sir Ram and Ma'am Winky.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Sarilia, Ma'am Keith, for such clear discussion about the MELC of the high school. Okay, for the information of everyone, Ma'am Sarilia po was my math teacher 12 years ago. Indeed, it was her who taught me how to strictly solve math problems in orderly manner with complete solution po. Okay, and now that I'm already the math teacher of my school, like her, I'm applying her virtues in my math classes. Again, thank you, Ma'am Sarilia, Ma'am Kit Sarilia. All right, now without further ado, let's proceed to the senior high school MELCs. May we call in our competent math teacher, Ma'am Alona Flores from Tagum City National High School. Please let us send her our virtual claps. Ma'am, you may now take the screen.
Good morning, everyone. I am Mrs. Alona Flores of Tagum City National High School, and today I am tasked to present to you the walkthrough of the most essential learning competencies of the math subjects in the senior high school. Can I have now my screen, Sir Ram and Ma'am Winky? All right. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so let us now have the overview of the senior high school math subject. Okay, for this slide, it shows the comparison of the number of the learning competencies in the original curriculum guide and the most essential learning competencies. For the first subject, mathematics, the number of competencies in the current CG is 63, and for the most essential learning competencies, we have 54. So there are 9 competencies that were not included. For the subject statistics and probability, the number of competencies in the current CG is 71, and for the MELCs, we have 37. So maraming tanggal. For the business mathematics, the number of competencies in the current CG is 45, and for the most essential learning competencies is 35. So there are 10 competencies that were not included anymore. For the pre-calculus subject, it's 49 from the current CG, and for the MELCs, there are 30. So there is a difference of 19 competencies that were not included anymore. For the basic calculus, there are 39 competencies in the current CG, and for the MELC, we have 33, so there is a difference of 6. Okay. Next slide is the comparison of the retained, dropped, and merged LCs from the original CG. So as you can see, in the general mathematics, 84% of the competencies were retained, 3% were merged or replaced, and 13% were dropped. For the statistics and probability, 73% of the total competencies were retained and 27% of the competencies were dropped. For the business mathematics, 60% of the total competencies in the original CG were retained, 24% were merged or replaced, and 16% were dropped. For the pre-calculus, 57% of the competencies were retained, 10% were merged or replaced, and 10% were dropped. And for the basic calculus, 69% of the competencies were retained, 18% were merged, and 13% were dropped. So let's now move to the walkthrough of the core math subjects and business math MELC. Okay, for the general mathematics for quarter 1, there are 30 competencies or most essential learning competencies to be met. Okay, so what are the competencies that were dropped in the original CG? Okay, these are the numbers 11, 17, 25, 24, and 29. Okay, the reason for dropping these competencies, graphing this function may be augmented by various software or applications. And for this particular competency, number 29, the reason is that more of a teacher's action content focus. Okay, for the second quarter of the subject general mathematics, there are 24 most learning competencies to be met. Okay, so the competencies from the original CG na natanggal or na-merge ay competency number 49. It was dropped because of the reason specialized topic. Competency numbers 53 and 54 were merged into illustrates and symbolizes propositions. The reason for merging these two competencies, related LCs, harmonized the focus on the skill. Okay, this is for the general mathematics pa rin, quarter 2. Competency number 62 and 63 were dropped. The reason for dropping is that specialized topics. For the statistics and probability subject, that would be for the second sem or quarter 3, there will be 27 learning or most essential learning competencies to be met. And from the original CG, these are the competencies that were dropped. Competency number 5, 12, 24, 25, 26, and 27. The reason for dropping these competencies, the content knowledge is not widely used in conducting student researches in senior high school. As well as competency numbers 28, 30, 31 were dropped. Same reason, the content knowledge is not widely used in conducting student researches in senior high school. Another competencies in the original CG that were dropped, we have competency numbers 33, 34, and 35. Same reason in the previous competencies, the content knowledge is not widely used in conducting student researches in senior high school. Okay, 37, 38, and 39 competencies in the original CG were also dropped for the reason the content knowledge is not widely used in conducting student researches in senior high school. 40, 41 as well were dropped because of the same reason. These are not widely used in conducting student researches in senior high school. For statistics and probability, quarter 4, the second semester, there are 24 most essential learning competencies to be met. Okay, from the original CG, competency numbers 47 and 68 were dropped. The reason for dropping, so these are the reasons. Now, for 47, this may just be part of the discussion on types of errors in hypothesis testing. And for competency number 68, the reason for dropping okay. For the business mathematics, quarter 1, in the first semester, there are 15 most essential learning competencies to be met. And these are the competencies in the original CG that were dropped or merged or rephrased. Competency number 1 was dropped. The reason is that this competency has been acquired from elementary and applied frequently in junior high school. Performing this operation may also be done using computer applications and calculators. Competency numbers 2 and 3 were merged and rephrased. This becomes now express A, fraction to decimal and percent forms, B, decimal to fraction and percent forms, and C, percent to fraction and decimal forms. The reason for merging these two competencies is that learning competencies having the same mathematical focus or foundational skills are merged, clustered, and rephrased. Okay, so this is in continuation for the business mathematics. Competency number 1 in the original CG was dropped. Competency number 2 and 3 were merged. Okay, competency number 2 for the first quarter of the subject business mathematics was rephrased. Instead of illustrating how marked on, marked down, markup are obtained, so it is now obtain, mark on, mark down, and mark up given price of a product. Okay. For competency number 5, it is rephrased to compute single trade discounts and discount series. Competency number 10, which is to illustrate how interest is computed specifically as applied to mortgage, amortization, and on services, utilities, and on deposits and loans, is now compute interest specifically as applied to mortgage, amortization, and on services, utilities, and on deposits and loans. Now, the reasons for rephrasing all of these competencies illustrating how a value can be obtained is more of the role of teacher in these LCs. These are rephrased to state that the students has to compute them. Now, for the second quarter of the subject Business Mathematics, there are 20 most essential learning competencies or most essential learning competencies. Of this, competency number 1 is dropped because it is already subsumed in LC2. Competency number 2 retained. Competency number 3 dropped because it is subsumed in LC. Competency number 4 dropped. Competency number 9 is retained. And competency number 10 retained. Competency number 6 and 7 were merged and rephrased. Now it now becomes describe the different kinds of graphs and its essential parts for data presentation. The reason for merging these two competencies that learning competencies having the same mathematical focus or foundational skills are merged, clustered, and rephrased. Competency number 13 is also rephrased. Okay, it becomes now compute down payment, gross balance, and current increased balance. The reason, illustrating how a value can be obtained, is more of the role of teacher in these LCs. These are rephrased to state that the students has to compute them. Now let's have now the walkthrough of the pre-calculus and basic calculus most essential learning competencies. Now this is for the STEM strand. Okay, in the original CG, we have 15 competencies. And from this competency numbers 4, 7, 10, 13 were dropped. The reason for dropping the competencies is that graphing may be generated using ICT tools. Far more important than graphing is the understanding and interpretation of the graph. 16, 17, 18 were also dropped, as well as 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 of the competencies in the original CG were dropped. The reason does not meet the endurance criterion. For the second quarter of the pre-calculus subject, there were 15 competencies in the original CG. Of these competencies, number 6 was rephrased and number 8 was also rephrased. The reason for rephrasing competency number 6 is illustrate to limit discussion, no? Instead of determining the domain. Now, for number 8, the reason for rephrasing so that problems will concentrate to applying it in real context and to those with given trigonometric functions. Now, for competency numbers 10, 11, and 12, these were merged or rephrased. Now, it becomes now apply trigonometric identities to find other trigonometric values. The reason for merging, applying the trigonometric identities is more essential than deriving it. And competency numbers 13, 14, 16, 17, 18 were dropped. The reason for dropping does not meet the endurance criteria. Number 19, 20, 21, and 22 as well were dropped for the reason does not meet the endurance criterion. For the basic calculus subject, quarter 3, there were 22 competencies in the original CG. Of this, Competency number 5 evaluates limits involving the expression sine t over t, 1 minus cosine t over t, and e squared plus minus 1 over t using table of values was rephrased to illustrate limits involving the expression sine t over t using table of values. The reason? We may not ask the learners to evaluate limits using these basic limits. That is, simply give a summary of the values of these limits, but no more applying these limits. Okay, competency number 6 was rephrased. It is now apply the differentiation rules in computing the derivative on an algebraic, exponential, logarithmic trigonometric function, and inverse trigonometric function. Replacing included logarithmic and inverse trigonometric functions. So we are almost done. Competency number 7. Before number 7, there is a competency that is added to MELCs. The objective now is to illustrate the extreme value theorem. The reason for adding this is before going to the problems, we illustrate first the extreme value theorem so that we may consider optimization problems that yield polynomial functions to settle the issue on continuity. Competency number 7 was rephrased. The reason for rephrasing narrowed down the competency to the most essential. Number 8, compute higher order derivatives of functions was dropped, and the reason for dropping does not meet the endurance criteria. For the fourth quarter, okay, there were 11 competencies, From the original CG, 13, competency number 3 and number 4 were rephrased. Okay, so these are the reasons. For number 3, the reason narrowed down the competency to the most essential. And competency number 4, the reason for rephrasing narrowed down to simple differential equations only, like dy over dx equals 2x squared minus 3x, but not separable differential equations anymore. Competency number 5 was also rephrased. The reason for this narrowed down to problems involving exponential growth and decay only. Number 6 and number 7. Number 6 was dropped due to does not meet the endurance criterion. Number 7 competency was rephrased. The reason is that illustrating is more of applying the definition rather than just knowing it. Competency number 10 was dropped. The reason, this competency has been introduced in the previous LC. And that is the end of the walkthrough of the subjects in the senior high school. Thank you very much. You may now back to you, Sir Ram and Ma'am Winky.
Okay. Ayan. Thank you, Ma'am Alona Flores, for that thorough presentation of the MELCs of the senior high school. So we hope that the senior high school teachers are already enlightened with their MELC. But dear teachers, unlike before, today's curriculum in the new normal, to sum it up, the MELCs or the MELCs will enable us teachers to focus instruction to the most essential and indispensable competencies that our learners must acquire as we anticipate challenges in learning delivery. It will also lighten the burden of converting classroom-oriented learning resources into learning resources adapted to distance learning. The MELCs does not diminish the standards set by the full K-12 curriculum guides. Rather, this serves as one of the guides for us teachers as we address the instructional needs of our learners while ensuring that curriculum standards are maintained and achieved. And it's such a relief to hear that competencies are more achievable this time. Ayan, yun pala yung MELCs. At this juncture, we'd like to recognize the effort of all mathematics module writers, LMS trainers and simulators, and evaluators who have given their effort and time to come up with the learning materials of the Tagum City Division. Okay, I think parang nandyan na din yung link ng attendance natin, Ma'am Winky.
Okay, sa attendance link natin po, nandyan na po sa ating chat box.
Ayan. Ayan.
Nandito na po sa screen.
Okay.
Ito yung link ng attendance natin. Kindly fill it out.
bit.ly/303GPVZ attendance sheet. Okay. I share din yan sa chat box natin.
Okay. And now, Sir Ram, I wanted to congratulate the module writers, the evaluators, also the teachers behind the MELC. Sila po yung nag-analyze ng learning competencies natin ngayon. So, thank you and congratulations po sa inyong lahat because we did it. The division math team did it all. So, congratulations once again. So, by the way, Sir Ram, do you know already how to make the lesson exemplar?
Parang hindi pa.
Okay, did you know, teachers, that all of us should revise or make our new lesson exemplar fitted to the new normal modality? So, yung mga previous DLLs and lesson plans po natin, kailangan na po natin i-revise or i-replace. Kasi bago na yung mga materials natin ngayon. So, it's very challenging to think about, right? But good thing that all of these things will be tackled to us this morning by our ICT expert in Tagum City Division, my co-grade 5 mathematics teacher, our host during the LMS Division webinar, no other than Sir J.R.F. Villa Abrilia. So let's give him our virtual claps, please. Sir J.R.
Okay, so isang magandang buhay po sa ating lahat at magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. So, this morning, I'm gonna present to you the format po ng lesson exemplar. So, gaya po nasabi ng ating host, so this year po ay gagamit po tayo ng tinatawag na lesson exemplar. By the way, ito pong lesson exemplar, kagaya din po ito ng daily lesson log natin. Kaya nga lang, instead na daily po ang paggawa natin ng lesson plan, ito po ay nagadepende po doon po sa ating MELC, no? Sa ating most essential learning competencies. Kasi po, kung napapansin natin yung mga MELC natin ay depende po kung ilang weeks po. Say for example, sa grade 5, in week 1 meron po dalawang competencies. So therefore po, dalawang lesson exemplar po ang gagawin for that week. Kasi po, hima-himayin po natin yung ating mga MELC at doon po papasok kung ilan din pong lesson exemplar. So, my task for this morning is to show to you an example of a lesson exemplar. At ang gagawin ko po ngayon para po sa ating lahat ay ipapakita ko rin po kung paano natin ginawa ng from the lesson exemplar, tinransfer po natin doon po sa ating LMS. So, ipapakita po natin yan mamaya. So, this time, isi-share ko po yung aking lesson exemplar. Yan. So, nakikita nyo na po ba yung ating lesson exemplar? Ayan po, no? So, ito pong lesson exemplar natin ay galing po ito sa region natin, so sa Department of Education, sa ating regional office. So sila po ang nag-format or nag-come up ng isang lesson exemplar. Ayan, so makikita natin ito ay detailed lesson plan number 1. Learning area is from mathematics at first quarter, week 1. So grade level 5. At kung andyan po sa baba, yung duration niya, ito po ay good for 3 days. Kasi nga, yung ating competency na ito ay for week 1, meron tayong dalawang MELC for the week 1 ng grade 5 mathematics. So, ang ginawa ko, hinati ko yung isang buong week, no? Ayan. So, later on, makita natin kung paano ko siya nilagay doon sa ating LMS. So, of course, kagaya ng ating DLL, andyan yung content standard, yung performance standard, yung learning competency and its code, at ito, meron tayong bago, yung tinatawag nating K concept. Yan. Then we have the learning objectives. Andyan pa rin yung the part 2 is the content, yung references natin, tsaka yung resources. At number 3, yung learning procedures. So, basically, pare-pareho lang din ito doon sa ating daily lesson log. Ayan. So, even if ito pong lesson exemplar ay sa lahat na po ng modality ito, no? So, kunyari po ay tayo ay doon sa modular, so yung module naman yung ating titingnan, no? Ipapasok natin ang module dito sa ating lesson exemplar. So, yun yung magiging guide natin para sa paggawa ng isang lesson exemplar. So, para sa akin, madali na lang kasi yung module naman natin ay given naman. So, gagawa na lang din natin ipapasok lang din natin dito sa ating lesson exemplar. So, dito na tayo sa part 3. Ayan, ano. So, yung part 3 natin ay nahati sa dalawa. Meron tayong letter A, yung ating preliminary activities. At yung letter B naman ay yung developmental activities. At under doon sa preliminary activities, andyan yung drill, andyan yung review, at andyan yung motivation. Ayan po. Okay. So, sa developmental activities naman, dito papasok yung 4 A's. Yung we have the activity, analysis, abstraction, and the application. At yung part 4 natin ay evaluation at 5 ay agreement or assignment at andyan pa rin yung reflection, yung kagaya sa DLL natin. So, ito lang po ang ating example ng lesson exemplar. So, for example, yung learning competency na ko po ay ito, no? Uses divisibility rules for 2, 5, and 10 to find the common factors of numbers. Ayan po yung ating code po sa MELC po na nakalagay. Ayan. So, yung drill ko, so ang ginawa ko ay drill on identifying odd and even numbers. Then, nag-review ako on reading and writing whole numbers. Meron tayong, sa motivation ko ay ginamit ko yung poem na entitled Rules of Divisibility. So, yun ang magiging motivation ko. Then, sa developmental activities ko, ayan yung quiz, no? Nilagay ko quiz kasi ito yung material na ginamit ko doon sa LMS. Pagdating naman sa analysis, andyan yung forum. Ginamit ko yung forum. So later on, makikita nyo sa aking LMS kung ano ba yung forum na yan. Ano? Okay. Then pagdating sa abstraction, may ginawa ako na interactive video na kalakip doon yung mga questions na kailangang sagutin ng ating mga bata kung meron pa silang natutunan doon sa ating lection for the day. At sa atin namang application, ang ginamit ko naman na material or resources is yung quiz. No? So ipapakita ko mamaya sa LMS kung paano ko ito nilagay doon sa ating LMS. At saka meron tayong evaluation at saka assignment. Now, let's go to, okay, stop share muna ako. Let's go to the LMS. Okay. Ayan. So, actually pattern ito kay Sir Mark na LMS, ano? But kung napapansin natin, ganito po ang pagka-set up. So from the lesson exemplar, nilagay ko dito. Kung napapansin niyo, Monday, August 24, 2020. So ito yung mga activities for Monday. So gaya ng sabi ko, hinati ko sa LMS yung ating mga activities. So ito So andyan yung content standard, nilagay ko, performance. So makikita natin yung LMS natin ay para ring lesson exemplar. Yan. So, andyan yung performance standard, learning competency, the key concept, at meron tayong learning objectives. Okay, so start tayo. Ayan, no? So, pupunta tayo sa drill ngayon. So, identify the number, is an odd or even. Ayan. So, pag i-click natin yan, okay, antay-antay lang muna tayo. Okay, so, ayan. Okay, antayin lang natin na mag-load. So, ito yung ginawa kong drill. Yan po. Ayan. So, yung ginawa ko ay drag and drop. So, ilalagay ng mga bata yung ating mga numbers na nandito kung saan ba siya nabilong. Is it an odd or an even number? So, madadrag ito ng mga bata, ilalagay lang nila kung saan ba banda yung ating mga numbers. So, halimbawa, lagyan natin ng mali para naman makita ninyo na nag-check talaga yung ating LMS, ano? Yan. So after that one, i-click ng bata yung check. Ayan. So automatically, meron po tayong score dyan. So dalawa yung mali mo, no? So dito, ayan, you're wrong. Please try again. So pwede pong ulit-ulitin ito ng bata hanggang makuha niya po. So pwede rin natin yang, kung gusto nyo na walang retry, pwede rin po na i-set natin yan. Now, so dito po, ito naman yung review natin. So, next ako. So, really yung LMS natin ay napaka-interactive po, ano? Yan. Okay. So, balik lang ako para balik tayo dito sa ating course para makita nyo. Well, anyway, ira-run through ko lang ito kasi I think the last time na nagkaroon tayo ng LMS training, na-discuss naman din ito. Okay? Ayan, so kasi yung very purpose nga na yung topic ko talaga ngayon is just an example ng ating lesson exemplar. So, ayan po, no? Ayan, meron tayong review in a form of quiz, yung motivation, okay. Ngayon, basically po, yung LMS po natin ay really is asynchronous talaga. Kaya maglalagay tayo ng instructional video na pwedeng gawa ng teacher or pag may ma-download tayo doon sa ating YouTube channel, pwede rin po sa mga sa YouTube, pwede rin po. Be sure lang po na ito ay under Creative Commons or be sure na mayroon tayong pahintulot nung may-ari ng video. Alam niya na ginamit natin yung kanyang video. So ito ay isang example lang po ng isang instructional video na ginawa ko sa Canva. Ayan po, no? Anyway, yung mga bata natin, pwede nila i-play and pause yung ating video para po, ayan, kunyari, ganyan, pwede nilang i-play and pause kasi sila po ang may control naman, no, ng video. Ayan, so, not necessarily po, no, na everyday kayo gamit ang LMS, everyday kayo magkita. So, depende na po yan sa inyong meet up. Okay, so, balik ako dito. Ayan. So, another activity na nandito, analysis. Oh, ito yung tatawag nating forum. So, pag i-open niya ng bata, so say for example, i-open niya, okay. So, add a new discussion doon sa topic. So, pwede siyang sumagot dito gamit ang question to how do we know if the number is divisible by 2, 5, and 10. So, mag-a-add siya dito, so magme-message siya, and then i-post yan sa forum. Then yung ibang mga bata naman, ganun din ang gagawin. So makikita yan ng teacher lahat ng mga post ng ating mga bata doon po sa forum. Ayan po yung maganda no sa forum. Okay. So balik tayo. Okay. So dito naman sa ayan, itong abstraction. Papakita ko sa inyo kung paano ko ginawa yung instructional video na nagkaroon na ng interactive na question, no? Okay, antayin lang po natin. Naglo-load pa po. So, ang kagandahan nito, kasi po kung tayo pong sa Tagum City Division ay nagkaisa po, pwede pong bawat school ay gagawa po ng kanyang materials, no? Pwede pong hati-hatiin natin si for example, week 1 si Magupo Pilot Central, si week 2 si Magupo Pilot Emelda, tapos pwede nang kopyahin yung course na yon. Yan. Okay. Okay. So, pag nakita ito, may lalabas po. I-click lang po yan ng bata, may lalabas. A number is by 2, may question po. Diba? So, nasa abstraction na tayo ngayon. So, say for example, yan. So, check. Okay. So, continue tayo. Magko-continue lang din yung ating video. Next. Mayroon tayong question number 2. Ayan. So, halimbawa ito. Pag-check yan. Check. Continue. Hanggang makarating po tayo sa last na question. Ayan. So, question number 6. Ayan po. So, marami po ito. Pwede pong i-check kahit saan dyan, no? Ayan. So, check. So, ayan po. So, meron po tayo dito na parang summary po ng ating mga answers ng mga bata. So, yun po yung kagandahan ng ating interactive video na tinatawag. Okay. So, kung napapansin din nyo, yung ating pong, yung kanina, yung ating instructional video ay ginawa or ma-open po by Tuesday. So, yung, sa Monday, more on dito sa preliminary activities yung ating mga bata. Kasi naman, gaya nga ng sabi ni Sir Mark, maximum of 25 to 30 minutes lang po dapat nakababad yung bata doon sa ating mga computers. Kasi nga marami pang mga subjects or ibang mga subject area na kailangang tapusin din ng ating mga bata. So sa Tuesday, ito yung nilagay ko, yung instructional video, activity, yung analysis, at saka yung abstraction at application. Pagdating ng Wednesday, dito ko nilagay si evaluation at saka si assignment. At saka nagkaroon din ako ng Google Meeting during this time, so magmi-meet up kami ng aking mga bata para po kamustahin yung lesson na ito at saka magkaroon kami ng para ding simula na lesson doon naman para sa pangalawang MELC that for the week. So, ganun lang po ang ating actually yung lesson exemplar natin. Sa assignment naman, so, kailangan i-download ng bata yung form or yung documents. Ayan o, ito yung documents na kailangan nilang i-download at pagkatapos pag nasagutan na nila ay isasabit naman ng bata para po bigyan ng grade or lalagyan ng grado ng teacher. So, I think ito po yung sharing ko doon sa ating lesson exemplar po. So, ganun lang po kaliit yung ating lesson. Ganun lang po kaliit yung aking sharing kasi example lang po ng lesson exemplar yung topic ko po for this morning. Okay, so I guess Tagum City Division is now ready sa ating new normal education. So ito lang Yun lang po, hanggang dito na lang. Thank you po at maraming salamat. Doon po sa naghihingi po ng soft copy ng lesson exemplar, i-upload ko po doon sa ating group chat po sa mga mathematics coordinator. Maraming salamat.
Ayan, thank you, Sir JR, for that very informative presentation of the lesson exemplar in mathematics at saka yun sa LMS. No? We are so hopeful to finally use it in our coming new normal classes. So, yun palang lesson plan natin, naka-format na upang diretso na mailagay sa LMS. Napaka-very interactive talaga ng ating LMS. Saman, kaya pa mga teachers? Kayang-kaya? Basta mga teachers, would na, no? Pero kung na may mga questions, comment lang sa chat box dahil babasahin natin yan mamaya. Okay. Yes. Are you all excited with our math class, Ma'am Wincy?
Medyo pulba, Sir Ram. But with God's guidance po, we can make it happen. So, laban lang ta para sa bata, para sa bayan ni siya. Laban lang din ta.
Yes, Ma'am Winky, talking about that one, no? With guidance and all the trainings that we have and preparations that we have, we can do this. Kaya natin to. Laban Pilipinas, laban DepEd Tagum City. So, meron ba mga questions natin dyan? Sabi nga ni Sir JR, no, na magbibigay siya ng soft copy sa lesson exemplar sa GC ng math coordinators at saka master teachers. Okay? So, do we have any questions? Ma'am and sir? Okay.
So, magbabasa tayo.
May mga questions ba tayo dyan? Pwede nyong i-on yung mic nyo at pwede sabihin na lang, no?
Okay, so far, marami pong nagpo-shout out dito, pero wala pong questions. Okay, para nagugutom na yung mga teachers natin nakaantabay kasi it's already lunchtime.
Okay, so if you have questions, meron naman tayong mga GC sa math coordinators at saka mga master teachers, pwede nyong i-raise yung questions nyo doon. Okay, now it's time to hear the closing remarks from our program manager, Ma'am Rosario Maco. Let's give her our virtual light, ma'am. Okay, so, ayan. Hello, ma'am.
Hi. Good morning once again. Before I close this class orientation, I would like to give thanks to our CID Chief, Dr. Maria Fer Cebuan, for the trust and confidence vested in me. To our school Principal 4, Dr. Joy Jade E. Relos, for the use of her office and school IT facilities. To Ma'am Emery Aquino, Ma'am Melissa Kitzarelia, Ma'am Alona Flores, for saying yes for their assigned task. The moderators, Winky and Ram, to the technical director, Jason Thompson, the IT expert, to my left and right hand, Mr. J.R. Villabrieli and Freddy Lailisa, and to my new import IT, Mr. Joey Dinopol. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Without you, this event may not be successful. And so, all the presentation, we hope we have conveyed all the good news leading to the smooth opening of classes on August 24, 2020. There is no turning back with our plans. We will implement the plan. We shall overcome and champion the challenge. And to end this orientation, may I borrow the following quotes of Director Jocelyn Andaya. Keep on teaching. The world is yours for shaping. The darker it gets, the brighter it shines. Thank you, and to God will always be the glory. Good morning.
Okay, thank you po, Ma'am